This is Gio Woodley, the in-arena voice of the NBA G League's Osceola Magic, and you're listening to a presentation of Shreveport Mudbugs hockey. It's almost time to drop the puck. Let's send it ringside for the Landers Auto Group pregame show with the voice of the Mudbugs, Zach Grant.
Deja vu makes a trip to George's Pond tonight as just 2 weeks removed from a weekend split here. The Odessa Jackalopes are back in town for a series, and it starts tonight at 7:11 p.m. as our Marty Party weekend gets the good times rolling. Hi again, everyone. I'm Zach Grant coming to you live from George's Pond at Hershey Coliseum for this Friday night action. Thanks for riding shotgun with us, and welcome into the Mudbugs warm-up show, driven as always by our friends at Landers Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Fiat. Tonight, the Bucs start the most important series to date as they currently sit in 6th place in the South Division, 3 points up on Odessa with just 11 games to go in the season. 2 road weekends ahead in the journey towards the end of that regular season, so the chance to get 4 points is critical at this point. The Bucs had a 3-game slate last week. They split with the Corpus Christi Ice Rays, 3-2 shootout loss on Friday, dominant 4-1 victory on Saturday before suffering a 6-2 defeat at the hands of the Lone Star Brahmas in a makeup on Sunday. Tough game for the Bucs, but a prime chance to bounce back this weekend and create some separation between them and the cut line. Odessa comes off a wild weekend split, falling 6-1 in Game 1 on Friday against El Paso. They turned things around, though, on Saturday with a 4-2 victory in the rematch. In that Saturday game, Odessa got out to a 3-0 lead before El Paso scored 2 unanswered to make it interesting down the stretch. Caden Diossi continued his successful season offensively, tallying 3 points on the weekend. And Odessa currently sits on the outside looking in, but they are hungry to steal a few points from the Bugs and create chaos in the standings. Big game on deck tonight. We've got lots to get to as we count it down to the opening puck drop on this Friday from Shreveport. It's the Bugs and the Lopes coming up next on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at DeFataPI.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantle and grills, they've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
We're back now here on the Landers warm-up show, sitting down with assistant coach Brett Smith. Now, Smitty, 3 games last weekend, came away with 3 points, much to improve upon, but got the 50-50 split to hold in onto that last playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we want to grab as many points as we can. It was nice to grab a couple from Corpus there as we're hot on their heels in the standings, and tonight's just another big weekend with Odessa, and 3 points behind us. We need to grab these points, and we need every little bit of them.
Tonight we do see Odessa again, second time in 3 weeks. We see them coming up as well. 50-50 split last time, or actually out of the season series thus far. What's been the key difference in those games that you've seen?
Uh, Honestly, it probably boils down to turnovers a lot of the time. I mean, they're such a run and gun, fast skating, talented team that if we're having turnovers just inside our blue, outside our blue, they have the ability to make some pretty good plays and finish very well. And I think in the games that we took the points from them, we were a lot more solid defensively, but we didn't have those turnovers. We got the puck deep. We went to work and eliminated those chances for them.
Now the Bugs are home this weekend before heading out on the road for 2 of the last 4 weeks before the end of the regular season here. Bugs have played pretty well on the road, but does that still add any intensity to tonight?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, you always want to make sure that home's where the heart is, right? I mean, you want people to come in here and realize that this is your building and things are going to be tough for them. And, you know, we've been hot and cold here a little bit. It'd be nice to get on a little bit of a roll here to end the season and make people aware that this is our home.
Now, Mardi Gras week is finally here, a bit overdue, but we can see the new jerseys. Got a great crowd coming in tonight. Hopefully a great night on the ice as well. But this game's important on the ice, as we mentioned with playoffs. But what does it mean to the community with all of Mardi Gras kind of surrounding it?
Well, I mean, you bring Mardi Gras, it's so big down here, and then you bring into the picture Mudbugs hockey, which people absolutely love down here. So combining the two, I think, means a lot to everybody. The players appreciate the support. I know the fans love watching the hockey, and the front office staff and the organization is going to put on a great show with lots of different things they have going on here this weekend. So I think people really look forward to this, and hopefully it's a great weekend overall.
Let's look ahead to tonight. We'll investigate our opponents, brought to us by our friends at DeFada and Associates. What do you see out of Odessa?
Well, their captain, Caden Giosi, is, he's a great player. He's got good finishing skills, and he's fast out there. So we got to keep an eye on him as the 60 minutes rolls through, and I think our guys will be up to the task.
Now, when we talked a few weeks ago, we talked about our friends at S&D Fire Protection bringing us whose fire we've got to put out. Vadis's name came up. He even had a solid weekend again in net for the Jackalopes, but I'd say Caden Giosi also kind of fits that mark.
Yeah, I would think both those guys. I mean, one likes to put the puck in the net, one likes to keep him out, so both those guys are guys that we have to key in on and play solid against.
And lastly, here on the pregame show, our Fireplay Specialties Question of the Week. Who's been hot for the Bugs lately?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get in trouble, so Coach Chris has told me I have to go with Grayson Gerhardt, who has been a solid pickup for us down the stretch, and he's chipped in quite a bit offensively and is really bringing his game to the next level when he competes out there, plays solid defensively, stops on pucks. He's fun to watch.
All right, Smee, thanks for your time. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Take a quick time out. Back in a moment here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our Sweet the Swamp Pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a Sweet the Swamp Pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Alrighty, back here in Shreveport, George's Pond, Hirsch Coliseum. Bugs and Jackalope set to get going at 7:11, so we've got a little bit of time before we have our opening puck drop. Here tonight as the Mardi Party starts this weekend here for the Bugs, and now We've kind of been talking about it ad nauseum the last few weeks, but it still holds true. 11 games to go. Bugs are 3 points up of the Jackalopes for that last playoff spot, and they're only a few games out of fourth place as well, so things can still be chaotic here in the South Division. So now we'll bring in Duncan Walker and take a look around the out-of-town scoreboard and the South Division standings to get you set for this one between the Bugs and the Jackalopes.
Laissez le bon temps rouler. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Duncan Welker. Welcome to Marty Party Weekend. Let's take a look at those South Division standings. Firstly, Lone Star, they've clinched playoff. They're sitting in first place at 69 points. Second place is the New Mexico Ice Wolves, and tied with them are the El Paso Rhinos on 62 points. But New Mexico has 2 games in hand on the Rhinos. Moving along, Corpus Christi at 55 points, sitting in fourth place. The Oklahoma Warriors and the Bugs are tied at 50 points, but the game in hand's advantage is even between the Bugs and the Warriors, and the Warriors have the go-ahead advantage in the season series between the Warriors and the Bugs. So how it stands, Warriors 5th, Bugs 6th. Moving along, these Odessa Jackalopes sitting in 7th, 3 points behind the Bugs. So like Zach, like you mentioned, very, 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 and one more time, very crucial weekend. Of course, and finally sitting down there in 8th place is the Amarillo Wranglers. So just an interesting all-around weekend as we celebrate the last vestiges of Mardi Gras, my favorite holiday. Of course, now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for your Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers Injury Report, brought to you again by our friends at Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers. Some injury news for the Bugs. Number 36, Joe Samango, recovering from a surgery, recovering well, actually. And, of course, number 26, Jeremiah Roberts, after last Sunday's game against Lone Star, took an upper body injury. So those are the only 2 injury names on the front for the Bugs. Of course, healthy scratch-wise, number 17, Nandor Polonier is the only healthy scratch for the Bugs as Claude and Little Bugger make their way out onto the ice. Let's take a look at your Whataburger starting lineup for both the Odessa Jackalopes and your Shreveport Mudbugs. Once again, brought to you by our friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. Firstly, for these Odessa Jackalopes, head coach Scott Durr. Assistant coach is Marquise Cotton. And at the left wing for these Odessa Jackalopes, number 10, Caden Jihasi. Taking the opening faceoff, and at center, number 12, Luke McPherson. And at the right wing, number 13, Daniel Kukskowski. At the left defense for these Jackalopes, number 3, Shane Berry. And at the right defense, number 4, Hunter Toms. And getting the start in net tonight for the Jackalopes is number 33, Ben Vautis. So that is for the Odessa Jackalopes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Whataburger starting lineup, or at least take a look at the Whataburger starting lineup. For your Shreveport Mudbugs, at the left wing, number 38, Chase Sakrisky, done well so far this season. Some good numbers from the Portage, Pennsylvania native. Taking the opening faceoff, and at center, number 22, Charlie Birchfield, since coming to the Mudbugs, has definitely made an impact. He has the Brighton, Michigan native. At the right wing from Woodlands, Texas, just outside of Houston, number 15, Jonah Jasser, Mudbugs captain. Joining a prestigious list of names, Dale Henry, Jim Sprott, Forbes McPherson, Dan Wildfong, and of course, Brent Litchard. So just some Mudbug captain names to recall. Nonetheless, at the left defense, number 29, Zach Wilson. And at the right defense, number 4, Remy Pusateri, the tallest defensive pairing in the North American Hockey League. Of course, Zach Wilson stands at 6'6", Remy Pusateri stands at 6'4". Wilson from Benland Falls, Ontario, and Remy Pusateri from Denver, Colorado. And getting the start in net tonight, the Gormley, Ontario native, number 31, Tyler Hodges. Hodges once again getting the start in net tonight for the Bugs. Of course, your Mudbugs are led by head coach Jason Soupy Campbell. Assistant coach is Brett Smith. Honorary assistant coach is Chris Lane. Willis Knighton athletic trainer is Hunter Robinson. And of course, your head equipment manager is Billy T. Welker. Those are your Whataburger starting lineups. Once again, brought to you by our friends at Whataburger. Whataburger, just like you like it. Speaking of Whataburgers, I like a good Whataburger every now and then. Although I go for the chicken tenders and sometimes the biscuit as we roll on here in the opening bits of time. What are you looking at me like that for?
You can't go to Whataburger and get chicken. Their chicken is good.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But you can't.
No,
you can't do that.
No, I mean it's not. Well, no, who am I kidding? I was gonna say it's not always on my. Who am I kidding? It is always on my priority, but No, but for breakfast-wise, though, you got to go with the honey butter chicken biscuit. The honey butter chicken biscuit. You got to go with that. But nonetheless, Zach, those are your starting lineups, as well as your Morrison DeWitt Injury Lawyers injury report. Again, we look at these Odessa Jackalopes once again, who, fun fact, actually, as the recap video plays, was actually the last time we played the Jackalopes. An excellent weekend. Well, at least Saturday night was for the Bugs. The last time we faced the mythical land creatures, is that right?
Mythical land creatures, absolutely. And even that Friday game, it was a loss for the Bugs in regulation. Yeah. So, but it was 1-0 for the entire game, and it was scoreless going into the third. So, close games. We kind of talked about it in the pregame with Smitty. 2-2 overall against Odessa. All the games have been close, and it's gone back and forth quite a bit. So. Anything can happen here, and it's a big series for the Bugs. They need at least 2 points. You'd like to get 4, trying to stay ahead as the Bugs will head down the Jimco Tunnel and out onto the ice here at George's Pond, sporting the Mardi Gras jerseys, the white tops, purple trims, and all kinds of purple, green, and gold out there, trading in the teal and purple.
Oh, it's my favorite. I love these jerseys. I was really disappointed when the games initially got delayed, but you know what? No time like the present, Zach. You'll love to see as the Bugs make their way down the Gemco Building Systems hometown tunnel. Of course, Plod and Little Bugger on the ice. Odessa just now, actually, I don't see Odessa quite yet. I see their head coaches. Once again, that is Scott Durr and Marquise Cotton. While we have a second, though, let's take a look at these coaches' keys of the game, sent in to me by Jason Soupy Campbell. Aggressive forecheck. Again, we mentioned it last week, rather. Aggressive forecheck. Soupy wants that. I guarantee you that's going to be one of the main focuses. Now let's send it down to P announcer, Robert J. Wright.
Bugs fans, time once again to raise the roof and start with the right team. It's tonight's Mudbugs by You Roofing starting lineup. And forward from the Woodlands, Texas, number 15, Jonah Jesser. Forward from Brighton, Michigan, number 22, Charlie Birchfield. And forward from Portage, Pennsylvania, number 38, Chase Sakrisky. Here's fans from Denver, Colorado, number 6, Remy Pusateri. Defense from Finland, Falls, Ontario, number 29, Zach Wilson. And tonight, between the pipes, from Gormley, Ontario, in goal, number 31, Tyler Hodges.
Those are starting lineups. Made America Night as well, in addition to our Marty Party. And we've got a national anthem rendition here getting ready to shape up here at George's Pond for this Friday night matchup between the Bugs and the Jackalopes. Let's send it down back once more ringside for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, right now, another special patriotic moment here at George's Pond. As a very brave and patriotic young man will be swearing in to the United States Coast Guard. Please welcome, from Longview, Texas, Noah Bradley. Accompanied by recruiting officer Clifford Marshall. And performing tonight's oath, Captain Justin Burris.
Hey, first off, I just want to say thank you for what you're doing here today. The commitment you're making to your country. Just thank you for what you're doing, okay? Ready to do this? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name.
I, Noah Bradley,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
and that I will bear true faith
I'll bear true faith
and allegiance to the same,
and allegiance to the same.
and obey the orders of
I'll obey the orders of
the President of the United States
the President of the United States
and the orders of officers appointed over me, according to regulations and the uniform code of military justice. So help me God.
So help me God.
Standing ovation here at George's Pond. Very special moment here pregame on Made in America night. For those of you listening at home, we do appreciate all of you who have taken that oath over the years. Defense of this great country allowing us to do these great things and play hockey out here. As now we've got going back down ringside now for a national anthem.
National anthem. Please welcome to George's Pond, Isaac Bryan.
The calendar has flipped to March, and it's time for all kinds of crazy things. Playoff basketball, playoff hockey, start of baseball season.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of fun things going on in March, and we've got our Marty party here in March, a little bit later than we had initially anticipated, but ready to go nonetheless here at George's Pond. The pond all decked out in purple, green, and gold. They have king cakes down on the concourse. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, Duncan, but they filmed a king cake eating contest with the players very long ago.
Oh,
and
yeah,
so we finally get to see that here as well tonight.
Oh, that's great. I love that. I actually, I did it. I was able to see it actually live. I was passing by and I saw them eating king cake. I can't remember the participants right now because, like you said, it's been so long. Gosh, everything has happened. But nonetheless, of course, ceremonial puck drop now being dropped between the two captains, Jonah Jasso and number 15 for the Odessa Jackalopes, Jeremy Jacobs. Excuse me, that is not Jeremy Jacobs. That is, as my old SID said, give us a twirl here. I believe that's number 11. Yes, it is, Brandon Catalano. So.
Catalano, 16 points for him on the year. He had a big weekend against the Bucks last time they were here.
He did. And speaking, and now going back to the coach's keys sent in to me by Jason Soupy Campbell. Aggressive forecheck. Bugs want that aggressive forecheck they had on last Saturday night. And it was an aggressive forecheck, let's just put it bluntly. Offensive energy to generate goals. And so one thing I think that I feel like is overlooked, you want to generate as many goals as you can, but again, the greasy goals are just as important as a nice, just clean wrist shot. But nonetheless, he also says outwork Odessa every shift. That's true all around. And finally, winning the special teams battle, keeping the penalty kills reputation excellent, but also building up the numbers of the power play. As the Bugs in the Mardi Gras jerseys once again, purple shoulders, white white fronts. And Odessa, they are in the all blacks with the O for Odessa. And I'm not going to lie, that's a unique look for them. But nonetheless, Zach, boys are up on their feet. Signals being thrown around. Once again, Charlie Birchfield and Luke McPherson on the faceoff. And Zach, it's time for those oh-so-magical words. I'm excited. Let's get her going, brother.
The puck is down, and just like the good times of Mardi Gras, we're off and rolling in game number 49 of the season. As it's banked off the wall to center and rifled in by Charlie Birchfield. Now getting the first touch for it are the Jackalopes in their blackout jerseys to give it away. Birchfield fires one. That got right to traffic again right on the front. That was Jonah Jasser trying to poke it on the doorstep. That's turned aside, and that draws our first whistle here in period number 1, brought to you by our friends at Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. AdvancedAC.com is where you can go for more information on installations, repairs, and maintenance for homes and businesses in the area. Again, that's AdvancedAC.com, proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs here in period number 1. 19:42 to go, first period. Bugs lose the offensive zone draw. It's wrapped around the boards and brought up by Henry Thornton. Now he had a big game as well. Big couple of games for the Jackalopes as it's brought in onside. Far side over the line is Jeremy Jacobs, their leading scorer. He's got 53 points on the year with 37 assists. He'll drop it off in the corner. Dessa's got it, offensive end, trying to split it to the middle. Birchfield steals it away in front of the net. Charlie up the far wing, will poke it ahead to center, takes a big hit, gets knocked down as he cleared the puck. He's back up to his feet as Thornton will fire it in. And it's gloved down by Hodges, and he'll hang on for a whistle with 19:12 here in period number 1.
So back at that first whistle, Zach, right on Midwest East with that first whistle, it goes back to that aggressive forecheck. Bugs jump down early, aggressively on the energy, and that's a good thing. Want to see more of that as we roll along. We're barely even out of the first minute. 2 whistles already. All right, pacing's going to be fun tonight.
All the way back up to the blue line. Shot there, deflected in front, and the Bugs will start the turn out. Tyler Hodges getting the start in net, 15-11, 2-5 overall record on the year, 280 goals against, 906 save percentage, as that one squeaks to him for a whistle with 18:58 now. Our third whistle, and another D-zone drop coming down for the Bugs.
An interesting night so far, Zach. And by the way, one of those king cakes, of course, those king cakes are brought to us by Louder's Baking Company. It's not an icing, trust me. Get to that shortly. Well, hopefully not shortly, but Louder's King Cakes, Louder's Bakery, good people.
Whitted has it go into the corner. Bugs get it right back, defensive end, trying to flip it around the wall. Another Bug gets knocked down. Now it's Wolf Talby, and he'll send a cross check back the other way as it comes back out to center ice. Eventually tracked down once more by Alex Thomas. 175-10 forward. Big hit there delivered as Wolf Talby's going to head to the box. He gets hit from behind by Whitted. Wolf Talby gets back up. He grabs the hold of Whitted, and they're going to tango right at center. Whitted's helmet pops off down on the ice, and Wolf Talby's going to jaw at him as he goes to the box. And I'm assuming we're not going to see a power play out of this because Whitted jumped Wolf Talby, and they're both going to go to the box. So Liam gets the penalty on the initial hit, and the fireworks already going here, not even a minute and a half into the game.
We'll find out the signals here shortly as Liam Wolf Talby still yapping away down there in the box. Jonah Jasser now alongside Jeremy Jacobs now getting the explanations. The 215s down there. We'll find out here shortly what all we lay.
Referee will relay everything down here. Bugs and Jackalopes getting it mixing up early here. It was a pretty calm series when they were here last couple of weeks here. Bugs had the 7-1 victory on Saturday, fell 2-0 on Friday, and now the referee gave an explanation. Looks like it's going to be 2 minutes on the board for either side. So we'll skate 4-on-4 early on here.
And you're right, it really was a calm series last time, but, well, I think definitely as we go into the last few games here in the year, not only in the league in the season, but across the South Division, you're going to see a lot more ramped up aggressiveness from pretty much every team, and I do mean every team, even Lone Star, who, well, may or may not slow it down, but not truly slow it down, because again, the genius or insanity, depending on your viewpoint, of Dan Wildfung. But again, that's in the past as we go 4-on-4 here. So it looks like Whitted will get a cross-checking, and Liam Wolf Talby will get the interference.
So Owen Case tries to clear, gets it back near corner, works behind his net, he'll settle it down. So 4-on-4 for a minute 51, 18:26 to go, opening frame, we're scoreless. The teams have been doing more hitting than shooting in the early going. Now the Bucks have a chance. Offensive end going in, and a great stop by Vadas to hang on. He was big against the Bucks in this building 2 weeks ago. He gets a big stop there, and he's had a solid season for him. 6-5-2, 2.92 goals against, 9.16 save percentage for him, and makes a lot of good saves. That was one right there. The Bucks had a great offensive chance once again.
Really was, and just was able to rob him glove side, and him being Grayson Gerhardt, who again plays like half a man his size. We've said it a million times. Why not say it 1,000,001? Grayson Gerhardt had a nice backhand opportunity, just got robbed glove side by Vadas there.
Ender Mullins to center. Jasser can't get a piece of it, goes back into the Bugs end. They've got it far side at center. It's Jonah Jasser to the near side, and leave it off for Evan Adams, who gets it back for Jonah. Now back up for Adams. On top of the center circle, now works off to his left. Far side for Jonah again, and over the line. Jonah fired one at the blue line. That got tipped in front, and the Jackalopes will start to run and gun here. Contact behind the play, three-player entry. Far side, in the slot, big drive. Kick save by Hodges. Comes over to the near wall where the Bucks will track it back down, and here we go, 2-on-1 developing. In over the line, shot there, and it hit the crossbar, comes out. What a great chance for the Bugs. They're on a change. Odessa gets it back. It's Jeremy Jacobs into the middle, down the slot, shot saved by Hodges. We're running and gunning on both sides tonight. And the goaltender, they're robbing people early.
Robbing people like a robber baron in the late 1800s, early 1900s, Zach. And I think Brett Smith wanted another look at that, and now Jason Soupy Campbell's getting an explanation on that shot there that at least to my vantage point, it definitely hit the top of the crossbar. When I say top of the crossbar, the inner top. I know that's weird, but either way, we play on.
We stay scoreless. Bugs had a great chance. Odessa took that opportunity to get an odd man rush the other way. They had a 3-on-1 that the Bugs were able to snuff out. Here's Vinny up the right side. Into the slot it goes. Stolen away that time by Kuskowski. He'll leave it off behind his net. Gives it far side where it's picked up by Luke McPherson. He'll cycle back to the red line. Now back to Shea Bear on the near side. Up ahead and over the blue line they come into the zone. Looking for a play. Stopping in the slot that time. St. Georgie behind the cage again. Flipped up the near half wall. Catalano, high slot. Big drive for the right circle. Paddle save up into the netting and out of play. For another whistle, 16:49, 13 seconds to go on the 4-on-4. And we kind of talked about it in the pregame, Duncan. These teams wasted no time trying to get on the board first.
Oh, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, Jack. Just a back-and-forth aggressiveness. And for the Bugs here, it's a great aggressiveness that wasn't really seen last Sunday against the Lone Star and Brahmas. Maybe due to tiredness, maybe due to other things, but that's in the past. Tonight is tonight.
Hunter Toms back to his own blue line. Up ahead to the center circle for Shea Berry. Got knocked off his stick. Bugs will poke it ahead into the offensive zone. Skaters back out, so we're 5-on-5 now as both of them will head off to the bench for a change. Bugs have a chance. Offensive end. Right circle, they lost it. Odessa starts to break out to center. Earhart shoves a man off the puck. It trickles into the corner where Hunter Toms wins the foot race for it. He'll chip it up the wall. Buck sealed away. Defensive end. Up the middle, it's Gerhard. Leaves it off to his left for Hoagland. Hoagland to enter the round. The defender just barely onside. Down the slot. Lost the puck. He corrals it again. Up to the wall. Adams can't save it at center, so he's got to come all the way back out. John Burnt picks it back up right at the center circle. He'll dump it in. Takes a check into the boards. He stays on his feet, though. Odessa will start the breakout on the far side. Buck sealed away again at the blue line. Tried to go D-to-D, lost it back to center. Grayson tracks it back down. Grayson Gerhardt, 8 goals, 20 assists, 27 points since joining the Bugs. Been a big player since he was acquired from the Ice Rays with Corpus Christi. Went 4 goals, 10 assists, and now it's going to be a breakaway the other way. In over the line, down the slot, shot there. Deke stopped by Hodges. He dives and gets it with his right skate. What a stop that time. Robin, the leading goal scorer, Giosi. He's got 25 goals. Hodges up to the task that time. This goes all the way back down for icing. 15:28 to go. And what a big stop for Tyler. He stayed in the crease. He's known to be aggressive sometimes. That time he stayed back and just got it with a skate.
Robbed him with the toe of his skate. You love to see it. And of course, all icings. This is brought to you by our friends at Louder Baking Company. Thank you, Robert J. Wright, for getting in sync with me. Unintentionally, of course. But no, Tyler Hodges, a toe of the skate save. Love to see it, especially right there against Gihasi.
Far circle. Odessa works it into the corner now. Far side over the stick of Matar. Shoved off the boards that time, but the Bugs get some help defensively. it's poked free along the far half wall. Now Owen Case will shove a man off the boards. And the corner still battling with Evan Adams that time. Coming in to help is Jared Griner. He works the puck free for a moment before Odessa is able to slap it back against the boards. Still tied up in the skates there. Owen Case and Evan Adams providing some defense. Lopez Corsi also screening up high, and he shoves a man away from the puck. Odessa wants a penalty, not going to get one, and the Bugs finally poke it free with 14:50 to go. Up the ice, it's Griner, left side over the line. Deeks around a defender, got knocked down. That's going to be a penalty, and the Bugs are going to go to the first power play of the hockey game. And now the referee getting chased down that time by the guilty party. It's going to be holding as Jared Griner got spun down in the slot, and a man advantage gets an early chance.
From the Scott Powerline power play, Bugs get ready to go to work. And again, it goes back to that key of the game that head coach Jason Soupy Campbell sent into us, just wanting to win the special teams battles. Just want to win that. And as obviously Mullen goes in for holding now, and the fans get pumped up for the power play, the Scott Powerline power play.
Bucks power play sits at 17.3%. It was a rough week for the power play last weekend, 0 for 11. A week ago at George's Pond. Gerhard has it right point. High slot now. Drop back off for Grayson. Swings it off to the right for Burnt. Burnt up top for Gerhard again. Right circle. Leaves it off for John Burnt. Toes the line. Fires in. Trying to get the tip back door from Earhart. Goes back in front for Grayson. Grayson's got a right circle. Big drive for Burnt. One time blast. His rebound. It comes through the crease. Trickles wide. Goes into the corner. Bugs get it back offensive end. John Burnt's got it right point. Down low to the hash marks for Gerhard. He'll cycle back up towards the blue. Leaves it off again for John Burnt. He pulls the trigger, fires it wide. Goes near side again, picked up by Grayson. Grayson in the right corner. Around a defender, works to the blue line, leaves it off for, actually he holds on to it, toes the line, stays on side, fires it, rebound. Earhart trying to whack at it at point blank range. That's covered by Vadas, and coming up big again in net is Ben Vadas for a whistle with 1:13 to go on the Bucks power play.
Oh, absolutely. But I want to talk about something. There was a moment, and there was a really weird bounce down there off the Coors Light right behind the net of Vadas. It was a weird bounce that led to the puck being right in front of the Bugs and Vadas, but Vadas again once able to just come up with those saves. Of course, that was a little bit later in the play. Sakrisky, hello.
In the slot that time, turned aside. Odessa will poke it out to center. Foot race for it, gotta hurry. Griner beats his man. Leaves it off the wall for Evan Adams, right circle. Defensive end, he's going to work behind the net now. 58 seconds to go on the Bucks power play. Odessa's penalty kill, by the way, sits second to last in the North American Hockey League, 34th at 70.7%. Griner over the line, takes a check, gets it to open ice. At the blue line case, swings it off to the right. Sakrisky's got it right circle, works up to the top of the circle. Deeks down low now. Left off for Evan Adams. He'll snap it across left circle. Back up top for Owen Case. He calls for it. He fires one. That's stopped by Vadas. He'll hang on for a whistle with 32 seconds to go in the power play. 13-14 left to go in the opening frame. And the Bugs power play getting the chances early, trying to work some open space in there.
They're just trying to find something and beat Vadas. Whether it's glove side, blocker side, pad side, mask side. I haven't seen that yet, but I'm sure they're trying to find a way to beat him, even mask side. But nonetheless, they're just trying to find something to get past Ben Vadas. But, man, what an exciting, effort on this Scott Powerline power play.
Left circle, Earhart's got it, shipped out to center by Odessa. Bugs will get it back. John Burnt backhands it to Grayson Gerhard right at the center circle. He'll bring it over the line right side down. Grayson hits the brakes on top of the near side dot. Into the corner it goes from Blahan for a moment. Now it's Earhart. Leaves it up top. One-time drive. That's stopped. Vadas was out of his crease to play it. Goes to the far corner again. Bugs pick it back up. Snapped across Gerhard. Gerhard back cross ice feed through the slot. That got broken up by Odessa. Bugs will hold on to an offensive end. Here's Gerhard. As the penalty expires, back 5-on-5. Grayson, high slot. Big drive. Earhart turned aside. Tremblay was providing a screen in front. Gerhard tracks it down in the near corner. Banked up the wall, but not out. Earhart holds it in. Leaves it off to the left. Hoagland's got it. Turns and fires from the left circle. That's blockered away in front. The Bugs get it back. Big drive there through Gerhard. Skates in front. And that goes off a jackalope into the crease just wide of the net. Picked back up. Big drive in front. Gerhard couldn't poke it free. Now comes far wall where it's picked up by Jeremy Jacobs. He'll flip it to center. Back at the center circle, it's John Burnt to his right. Bugs enter the zone again quickly. 5-player entry. Burnt's drive gets tipped away in front. Goes behind the cage. Wrapped around the boards. Not cleared out still. Sent down low by Remy. Left circle, stolen away by Odessa. Now they're going to run and go the other way. Up ahead quickly, and over the line they come. Down the slot, big drive there. Hodges pokes it wide. Off of Pankrat's stick. Comes far side again. Earhart providing a screen. Or actually, Poloni rather. Now it's wrapped around the board to come near side. Up the half ball, Bucks trying to clear it out in front. Unable to do so yet. Now Ryan Barrett's got it on his tape, and he'll slide it across. Vinny around a defender. Vinny towards the slot. Looks in the crease. His shot turned aside. Rebound. One-time blast. Stopped by Vadas again. Wolf-Talby gets it back. Left circle off the side of the cage. Still whacking at it. Vadas is down. The puck is loose. We get a whistle. 11:22. The referee lost sight of it, but the Bugs are playing that run and gun style as we go to immediate timeout here. 11:22 left to go in the first. We're scoreless somehow here in Shreveport at George's Pond on the Bugs Broadcast Network. All right, back here in Shreveport, 11:22 to go, first period. Having some intermittent internet issues here in the building, so that was a quasi-immediate timeout. Nonetheless, no score somehow because, well, it's back and forth both ways, and we talk about it all the time. The Bugs like to play physical, Duncan, but tonight they're adopting Odessa's style. They're getting the puck at center, and they're immediately going into the zone.
Oh, they are, and it just seems like anytime you adapt the play style of one team, it seems like we can almost do it better sometimes. Because, well, sometimes there's nothing like your own play style. And as we were going into break, Zach, I looked over to my left and saw Mudbugs general manager and former Mudbugs head coach Scott Musket watching it, and he's loving the play and the effort by the Bugs, as he should.
Wilson has it poked away from him, goes all the way back into the Bugs' end. Zach Wilson tracks it back down at the near circle, spins off a defender. Through a stick check, up ahead for Wolf-Talby, and then two Jackalopes get caught in friendly fire. And over the line come the Bucks. In the slot, goes on net. Vadas will paddle it backhanded aside. Picked back up by Zach Wilson. In a corner, given away in front. Almost goes off the skates of Chris Graves that time towards his net. Bucks steal it away. One-time drive from Wolf-Talby is blocked away, and now back the other way comes Odessa. They bring it over the line, but then dump it into the corner. Foot race for it there. And somebody took a high stick. Yeah, that's going to be a penalty on the Bugs. And going into the corner. Looked like Wilson's stick just rose a little bit too much into the face of a Jackalope, and that's going to be a power play now for Odessa as they get a chance to go to work with the fourth best power play in the North American Hockey League.
So Zach Wilson will go in for it for high stick. And again, we go back to that, relatively best power play versus relatively best penalty kill, as we saw a couple weeks ago. Well, with these Jackalopes, actually. And it's just, you always want to see best on best, and it's the truth. But nonetheless, Jeremy Jacobs on the faceoff for the Bugs, and Griner on it for us. Or excuse me, other way around.
Big one-time drive there. It's all on the side. Griner will bank it out to center. The Bugs penalty kill perfect. 8 of 8 last weekend. Sits currently top 6 again, sitting at 84.6%. Brought it over the line far side. Centering feed there goes trickling on net, and Hodges will cover. And again, the Bucks power play, or Odessa power play rather, fourth best in the league, 25.2%. And what's interesting, Duncan, we've talked all season about the Bucks penalty kill being strong. Currently, the South features 4 of the top 6 power plays in the entire North American Hockey League. El Paso, New Mexico, Odessa, and Lone Star, all in the top 5.
Wow. Again, that's the strength of the South Division. And honestly, the last couple Robertson Cup champions, as the faceoff gets dress rehearsaled, the last few and really couple Robertson Cup champions have been from the South Division. So it shows the strength of the South Division here in the North American Hockey League.
Odessa's got it offensive end. High slot for Thornton. Pulls the trigger. Missed it. Pushed it wide. Goes off the back of the net. Wrapped around the board. Thornton will pinch and chase after it. Knocks Wolf-Talby off the puck. Josie comes in to grab it. Now it's in Jacob's skates. He ties it along the boards. Liam poking at it. Pusateri got it free, but eventually goes back into the control of the Jackalopes. Jacob snaps it across far circle. Looking for a play. Up high it goes to Henry Thornton now. Thornton for Jacobs again, swings off to the left. Down low, one-time drive at the bottom of the circle. Turned aside by Hodges, and the Bugs will turn and burn it all the way down. What a clear for the Bugs midway through the kill.
Love to see that. It was off a deflection and send it right on down the ice.
9:42 left, first period. Jacobs slams on the brakes into the slot. It comes, his shot, top shelf, goes over the glove side of Tyler Hodges, and Odessa breaks the scoring drought. It's 1-0 with 9:32 to go, and leading his team to the line is their leading goal scorer, Caden Giossi. It's his 26th of the season.
Oh, it's just one of those shots that I think a lot of goalies work to stop rather, and Giossi was able to get it right past the glove side of Hodges and up into the net. And when I mean up into the net, I mean up to where the bottom meets the top. And man, that was it was a good shot, don't get me wrong, but man, Tyler Hodges works to stop that shot. Sometimes that's the unfortunate nature of a shooter like Caden Giossi.
The Jackalopes strike first. Bugs will control the neutral zone face-off. Give it away, though, at the blue line. Held in by Thomas. Thomas down low, poked out by the Bugs. Hunter Toms will track it down, sends it near side now for Shea Berry, who turns it over, and Jonah Jasser will send it towards the Odessa net. Hunter Toms will grab it behind his netminder, Vadas. Up the near wall it comes to center ice. Give it away. Here's Jasser in the slot. Left circle, turns and fires. That never got to the net. It went off a Jackalope in front. Goes over to the far half wall to the blue line and not out. Nice play by Reed to hang on to it. Here's Jasser into the middle. Stolen away, though, as the Bugs can't hold on to an offensive end, and the Jackalopes started the other way. Flipped up ahead from center. Dumped in, trying to get around a check. Get knocked down that time with Catalano, and he spins his head around looking at the referee. Not going to get a call there that goes far side for John Burnt. Burnt just to the left of his net. Starts up. Center of the ice now off to the right side for Willie Tremblay. He'll send it towards the net. Goes trickling far corner. Picked up and backhanded up the wall. John Burnt almost had to go off and going off for a change. It was almost too many men. As Pusateri at center leaves it off now for Willie Tremblay. In over the blue line. Swings off to the left. Big drive there. Vadas with a stop for another whistle with 8:18 as the goal scored by their leading goal scorer again for his 26th. And got a couple of helpers on that one, Duncan.
Yeah, Adam Matar, of course, Jeremy Jacobs and Nicholas Percelli on that goal. And again, it's like we mentioned. It's one of those goals that goalies work to stop almost every day in practice. If not every day in practice, Matar just was able to beat his glove side. But you know what? That's okay. Again, you're getting back to that aggressive forecheck with the Bucks are. Doing a pretty decent job, and we'll go again.
Somebody didn't let the puck hit the ice first, so going to try it again. 1-0 our score in favor of the Jackalopes. 8:17 left. It's been a great back and forth first period. Both teams have had their chances, and this is not quite the hockey game we saw when Odessa was in last time, but I like this version better. A little less energy both ways. As now it's given away up in open ice. Here comes Odessa down the slot. Big drive. Hodges out of his crease. Went all the way to the hash marks. And he steals a goal away. And stops time with 8:02 here as we like to remind you that Mudbugs Hockey is brought to you by our friends at Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice of the best pizza in town. Johnny's Pizza House also good partner of our puck out of play. Haven't had too many of those after those opening 40 seconds or so. But another great stop there for Hodges.
Absolutely. Again, he made up for that. He made up for that goal that went past him. So good stuff there, Tyler Hodges.
Far corner, Bugs will control defensive end, start the breakout up the near wall. It's Ryan Baert, sticks it to the middle, goes wide of Birchfield's stick. Now will track it down as Baert took a check. Bugs brought in over the blue line, but Odessa immediately steals it away. Right in the center circle, in over the line. Just barely stays onside as Adams got it below the goal line, leaves it off again, far side, almost given away by the Bugs. Defensively, got to clean that up now. Now they will settle it down behind the cage. Looking for a play. 7:32 to go, first period. Own case up for Evan Adams. Drop back for Owen now. To the left of his net, around an Odessa attacker. Sent near side for Adams as he can't corral it cleanly. Gets his carom off of the board. Works below the goal line again. He's got Jacobs tying him up behind the cage. Picked back up by the Bucks. Started out for Barrett at the blue line. He dekes around a defender. Up ahead for Vinny. Vinny cuts down the slot, lost the puck. Squirts up to the blue line, held in by Barrett. Barrett swings it off to the right for Wolf Talby. He can't corral it cleanly. Goes off the blade of his stick. Into the corner it goes, and Odessa almost turned it over defensive end. Now into the corner it goes. Flipped up the wall around the linesman. This is going to go for icing, maybe, if the puck just does barely get over the line. with 6:53 left. And face-off's coming all the way back down. No zone draw for the Bugs.
Of course, Mudbugs hockey is always brought to you by our friends at Fireplace Specialties. You know, Zach, they've got it all. Fireplace, gas lock, glass doors, wood stoves, mantles, and grills as well. Located at 8500 Box Road here in Shreveport, or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Zach, as always, Fireplace Specialties, your fireplace headquarters.
John Burnt blows a tire, but he's able to play it out to center. Bucks will hold on to it and then dump it in. And a couple of changes for them. Odessa's got it on top of their goal line. Flipped up the wall around Burnt. Foot race for it here. Odessa's going to win it as the puck barely got to the red line anyway. Tied up in the corner there. Reed throwing some screens here as the Bucks try to work it free in the near corner. Defensive end. Up the wall for Gerhard. Couldn't get it to him cleanly. Now he steals it away. Top of the circle and gets it back out to center for John Burnt. Burnt rumbles into the offensive end, and they're going to say it was offside as he won too many stick dangles here at center, and that draws the whistle with 6:19 left. Neutral zone draw upcoming here as the Jackalopes lead 1-0 here late in the first.
629, 26-28, Bayou Outdoor Super Center.
Face-off will be here near side, just outside of the Odessa end. Bugs in the Mardi Gras jerseys. Again, a little bit overdue after Snowmageddon, but we got them out there. They look great out on the ice with the white, purple, green, and gold. Everything good about Mardi Gras is thrown into those jerseys in one way or another as it's banked up to center to the Bugs blue line, but not into the zone. Now Odessa will chip it forward. That could have been offside, but we roll on. Back at center it comes. Bugs will start it into the zone. It's Jasser. Jasser cuts toward the net, lost the puck, gets it back. Passes it to himself off of the boards, tries to turn it to the middle. Back up top now for Remy, right point. Remy's drive, and Vadas will sprawl to his left and just glove it out of midair and hang on for a whistle. 5:53 left here in the first, and these two goalies not too keen on playing the puck after they make the catch.
No, absolutely not. Vadas is just standing on his head right now. Tyler Hodges, no slouch either. Good stuff so far, but that play that developed into a whistle, there's a good wherewithal from Jonah Jasper to able to get it back to the defensive side of things. Defensive line here to Rem Pusteri, who got it on in and just made a good play.
Another great play by Hodges overall. The icing is washed out. This could easily be 4-0 Jackalopes with some of the scoring chances they've had. And, of course, the other end, Vadas could have given up 3 or 4 goals himself.
All right.
Now it's controlled behind the cage. Works free off of the boards for Pusateri. Up the wall for Lopez Corti. Touches it ahead. Icing is washed out. Foot race for it. Willie is going to undercut the man and almost get to the puck. Eventually, though, controlled by Whitted. Whitted wraps it around the boards. Comes far side for Catalano. He'll flip it up out of midair all the way to the Bugs blue line. Tracked down by Evan Adams. The righty stick will bank it off the wall. This is going to be not icing as it's washed out. Bugs win the race anyway. Sent back up the wall. Intercepted by Odessa to the blue line and just barely out over Adams' stick. Jared Griner picks it back up. He's had a solid season for the Bugs with 13 points. Griner down the slot, lost the puck, and it goes into the corner. Bugs almost got it towards the net there. Goes off with Jackalope in front. As Shea Berry forces a turnover. Tied up along the wall now. Whitted providing some defensive pressure. Bugs can't work it free. Goes up the wall for the Jackalopes and goes off a body at the blue line. Held in by the Bugs for a moment. Overskating it. Now they get it back. Simons had it, but it's flipped out all the way back up to the Bugs end. At their own blue line. Up ahead again. They'll quickly enter the zone. It's Julio. Can't corral it cleanly, but he sticks it through his legs backhanded to get it into the zone, but it's turned over and controlled by the Jackalopes up ahead. Here's Yossi down the slot. The lefty stick. Lost the puck. Great back check for Adams to steal it away. Back up top again it comes. Slid up towards the blue line. High slot with it, McPherson. He fires one and scores. He goes stick side on Hodges, and it's 2-0 Odessa. Luke McPherson, I believe that was, with his 6th goal of the year, and it's 2-0.
Rough to see here, but Kukskowski took the shot, and it might have got tipped in by McPherson. You're right, though, but Kukskowski had the initial shot that ended up right through the legs of Tyler Hodges. Man, that's just, again, 2 good shots, 2 good goals by the Odessa Jackalopes. Again, but you can't let that affect you with 4:14 left. A lot of hockey left, but still just got to get it rolling here.
That was Kuzkowski's 8th goal of the year, 18th point. He's had a solid season as well as it's brought in around the boards. Comes near side for Burnt. Sticks it up the wall. Near half wall. It's controlled by Earhart. Up for Hoagland. Hoagland gets it to Grace and Gerhard, and it's poked away from him at the blue line. That'll be offside with 3:57 left. And we kind of talk about some of the offense, and John Burnt back out on the ice. What a year he's had. 34 points, 12 goals, 22 assists as a defenseman. You don't get to see that very often, a dual threat player. He's been solid, and he's got points in 5 of his last 6, and in that span he has a goal and 6 assists in those games. So he's been on fire, and he now leads the team in points and assists as well. Nice. Up the wall it comes, flipped to the blue line and held in by the Bugs. Gerhard into the corner, centering feed there for Reed, trying to get at it, and now get loose in front, and the Bugs will score. They stay alive. There was no whistle, and it's banked in, and the Mudbugs are flying out here as they get one back. It's Grayson Gerhard who leads the charge towards the bench. It's Grayson's 9th of the season, and the Bugs stayed with it. It's 2-1.
Taking advantage of a loose puck in the crease. Grayson Gerhard, love to see it. And of course, Odessa assistant coach Marquise Cotton asking, and now Scott Durr going down low asking, was it covered? It was covered. Basically what I'm trying to say is they're asking for another look at it, but nonetheless, taking advantage of that. Again, opportunistic rebounds sometimes leads to dirty goals, and guess what? Like I said, if it crosses the line, and it counts, then guess what? All that matters, baby. 2-1. Come on, Bucks.
So Grayson's got 18 points in his last 12 games. He adds another one. Gerhard from Earhart and Hoagland. And again, Grayson's been another one. 3-point game against Odessa. Last time they were in this building, it was the second time this season he's had at least 3 points. And I thought it was covered up from here. It looked like the play was over, but then it squirted free of Vadis. And the Bugs, credit to them, stayed with it, put it in the net. Grayson Gerhard gets the goal, and they pull back to within 1 with 3.5 to go here in the first.
Again, opportunistic rebounds lead to excellent opportunistic chances. So it'll be Gerhard from Earhart. I love that. I love Gerhard from Earhart. It's just a great thing. Of course, Evan Hoagland getting in on the apple party as well. But nonetheless, love to see it. Jason Kriske on the face-off for the Bucks.
Earhart's no slouch offensively either.
Oh, yeah.
He's got 12 assists now on the season. And now here's Jasser, slams on the brakes over the blue line. Shot got tipped. Vadis able to stay with it and knock it aside. Goes all the way back down. This is going to be icing as Zach Wilson has no contest. He'll take 2 strides with that 6'6" frame and beat out everybody by a mile.
Exactly. I mentioned before we went on the air that one of the probably the tallest defensive pairing in the North American Hockey League, Zach Wilson, Remy Pusateri. But as for Zach Wilson, just with those big strides, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Big Bird. Big Bird from Sesame Street Slicks. I'll have to tell the story sometime, but he reminds me a little bit of Big Bird, and that's a good thing. I like Big Bird.
Here's Remy, slaps it around the wall. Bugs pick it back up below the goal line, chipped off the top of the board. Gerhard gets it back, ties it up along his skates. Shea Berry in there poking at it for Odessa. Bugs work it free up towards the blue line. Snapped across left point. Wilson corrals it. He hits the brakes and dumps it. Here's Hoagland, bottom left circle in front for Earhart. That line working out here tonight as it goes along the near wall. Picked back up by Earhart below the goal line. Works off to the right. All the way around. Tried to go D-to-D for Remy. He lost the puck. Chases after it, and he will tie it up along his skates there as it's picked up by Pankratz. He's still whacking at it. Now the Bugs bring it into the zone. Right circle. Earhart's drive. Tried to go stick side high, and Vadis got a piece of it with his shoulder. Plays it off the wall again. Bugs in the slot. Lost the puck. Odessa's got 2-on-2 the other way. Jackalopes in over the line left side. Down the slot. Lost the puck. Right circle. Big drive and a big hit. Delivered by Hoagland. Sends Percelli sliding into the wall. Jasser picks it back up the center of the ice. Down left side. Cuts towards the net. In the crease. Tried to backhand it. Couldn't get it to go home. And it goes up the wall again. Right corner. Offensive end. Bugs steal it back into the slot. It comes on another high stick. This one's going against the Kriske as he tried to whack at the puck. His stick rose up. Got a jackalope in the head, and that's going to be at least 2 minutes and maybe 4. Referee going over to check on the injured jackalope that time. That's Matar, and we'll see what the signal here is from the referee. Is Matar, referee trying to look at Matar, and Matar's kind of looking away from him, and it looks like it's going to be 4 minutes on Sakriski. That's going to hurt as the Bugs will now be shorthanded. Double minor upcoming. So if the Jackalopes are unable to score 2 goals before the period, the Bugs will be shorthanded for the rest of this first and then some of the early second.
Don't get me wrong, accidental high sticks are never fun, both on the recipient and the recipientee. I guess what I'm trying to say is never fun getting an accidental high stick, and especially now as this first choice personnel penalty kill goes to work.
Julio can't slide out of the zone. Goes right top of the circle. Now back left for Jacobs. Jacobs dangles over the dot. His shot turned aside. Missed it. And now Bugs have a defensive end flipped up the wall. Pass to themselves off the board. Banked out, and it did not come out. So the linesman right away in front. Big drive stopped by Hodges. Wolf-Talby sends the check on Catalano. Streak it down to slot. He had a great chance, and Hodges came out to stop it with 93 seconds to go on the first period clock.
Streaking down Barksdale Boulevard. Tyler Hodges. Love the save.
Face-off going to come far side now. D-zone for the Bugs. Off to Hodges' left. That's his glove side. 3:30 left to go on the kill for the Bugs. Slid up to the blue line. Held in right circle. And now it's stolen away. Griner gets a piece of it. He's going to skate out to center with it. Then he lofts it down the length of the ice and gets a shot at net as Vadas has to play it. And he'll hang on. And so the Bugs' finger attempt becomes an offensive zone face-off. So sometimes it works out.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, coming up in a minute 20 plus, I'll talk to Mudbug alumni Bryce Boucher and Andrew Seminara. Of course, in Seminara's case, it's spring break there at college. Sorry, I lost the name of the college in the back of my mind there. Andrew Seminara, of course, played 2 years with the Bugs. Of course, now he's at Mary University. I'll talk to him and Bryce Boucher as part of the North Caddo Express Loop First Intermission Show. So good to hear from them.
Matar down the left side, lost the puck at the circle, got it back, now slides it up to the line for Toms. Toms snaps it across right point. Top of the right circle, back up top again for Toms. Toms Matar, left circle, slides back up high for Toms. High slot, poked away by Earhart as he threw his body, and he'll rifle it down the ice. Nice clear there. Final minute of period number 1. 2:50 to go here on the penalty kill for the Bucks. Uphead, flipped up the wall, goes off of the boards, played by Odessa, through the middle logo, and over the line, left side. 5-player entry, they lose it. Bugs get it back, poked away though by McPherson at the blue line to hold it in. High slot, it's Yossi, drops it off again for McPherson, 12 in black. Sled up top now for Toms, left point. On top of the Landers logo, fires in, rebound for Matar, was poking at it. Hodges got a piece of it to slide it to the wall. 24 seconds to go. Bugs can't slide it out of the zone, held in right point. Set near side now with some fresh bodies out there is Jacobs. Spins off a defender. Still has it. Works into the slot. One-time drive. Hodges flashes the leather and hangs on to it for Odessa with 13 seconds. Big chance there on the power play for Odessa. And it's another big stop for 31 in whites.
Puck to glove, like metal to magnet. I've been waiting all night to use that because he's had a lot of good glove hand saves, Zach. But right there, very crucial. 13.1 left in this first period, 2:10 left on the double minor to Sakrisky. That's a crucial save right there for the Gormley Ontario native Tyler Hodges.
13 seconds left in the period. Slid up top now for Thornton. Whiffed on it. He corrals it out of trouble, gets hooked off the puck, goes down at center. Brought back in by Giosi, takes a hit from Remy. Earhart's got it, and he'll just hang on for a whistle at the end of the period. 2-1 our score. Crazy opening 20 minutes here, Duncan. Couldn't ask for anything better with just 11 games to go, and Odessa's only got 10 games. They have a game up on the Bugs, so nonetheless a crazy first period. Bugs kill off the first half of the 4-minute double minor. They'll have some time to kill at the start of the second, but overall, again, offensively, both teams running and gunning, and they're putting on a show for the fans here tonight.
No, they really are, and it's just been a good overall period. 18-11 in your first period shots in favor of the Bucks. So really, you're right, just running and gunning and running and gunning and, well, gunning and running to reverse it. And Vadas asks for an explanation possibly on that goal from Grayson Gerhard. But, man, just an interesting period, fun period nonetheless. Now it's getting updated 18-12 in favor, but still in favor of the Bugs. But, man, what a period, though. Love to see it.
I had to check your math there, Duncan, after that's a crazy number of shots in the first period, 18-12.
It's understandable because we haven't seen that many shots in a game, well, in a game like this, but in a game at all from the Bugs in probably a good minute.
Well, Odessa's been known to throw 50 shots on the board, so it's nothing new for the Jackalopes. The Bugs, again, adopting a new style of play. It's working for them so far. Opening 20 minutes in the books here in Shreveport. The Bugs on the shallow end of the scoreboard, but it's 2-1, back and forth, and we'll be back in a moment. First intermission show on the other side of the break here at the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whataburger from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. What a burger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant.
Welcome back inside to George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum. Mudbugs down 2-1, but that doesn't mean that the game has gone all bad for the Bugs. We got a goal on the board, and more importantly, the effort from the Bugs, just an excellent all-around from this Bugs team tonight as the knocker ball action continues. If you're watching on NATV, I love a good game of knocker ball. But more importantly, joining me now here in the booth, Mudbugs alumni and current Marion forward, Andrew Seminara. Semi, welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Now, Semi, firstly, how's school going?
School's going great. Having a great time. Good grades.
Good.
Still playing hockey, so that's the best part.
Yeah, believe me, that is the dream of every young man on this ice, and of course, everyone here in the North American Hockey League. Now, Semi, let me ask you something. Thoughts on the period so far?
It's all right. We got to clean it up a little bit in the fast breaks coming through the neutral zone, and I would say get more bodies to the net because that's how we scored our one goal, and that's, I think, how we're going to beat Odessa here.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, that first goal coming from Grayson Gerhard, and it was an interesting goal. Speaking of Grayson Gerhard, you played against him when he was both with the Amarillo Wranglers as well as the Corpus Christi Ice Rays. Of course, he came over here from the Ice Rays, but it was an interesting goal. Bounced out in front, squirted loose, past Vadas, ended on the stick of Gerhard right past the net. But nonetheless, Semi, from your time here with the Bugs, how do you think you did? Because everybody, don't get me wrong, everybody loves you, but how do you think you did with your time here at the Bugs?
You know, I think I made the most of it, and I stuck to my role. You know, you're assigned a role whether you like it or not, and you just do the best you can and play your role. If everybody plays their role on a hockey team, they will be a great hockey team.
Absolutely. You could say that, well, really just about any hockey team, and honestly, really at any level, Semi, going all the way down to, little kids hockey all the way up to the NHL.
100%.
Yep. And of course, your time here with the Bugs, of course, you were more. I would say you were more of a defensive forward, I think, in my opinion. But that's just in the brief time I got to saw you, because last year when I was here, I was only here for a little bit, but hit a lot more this season. But
yeah, 100%. I mean, as a player, like, I know I'm not a goal scorer. You know, like, I'm not going to go coast to coast and score a goal, you know. So my job was not get scored on, create a little chaos, punish their D below the goal line, and maybe pop in a few.
Oh, yeah. And you mentioned create chaos. Of course, your last year with the Bugs, 159 penalty minutes. I think, I could be wrong, I'll have to talk with Chet Yoder, former voice of the Mudbugs, but I think that has to be somewhere near the top of the junior era in penalty minutes for the Bugs. But nonetheless, Semi, what else has been going on in your world outside of course, school and, of course, hockey with Marion?
Man, nothing really. I mean, school takes up a lot of your time, as most students would know, and hockey, that's on top of your that's taking up your free time. So other than that, just hanging around with my roommates and finally be able to rest my body after this season is great, and that's about it.
Good. Love to hear that, Semi. Now let me ask you something. You're really important. Thoughts on the Mardi Gras jerseys? I love them personally.
I think they look great. Yeah, I love the Mardi Gras spirit here in Louisiana, and it's just great to see that the Mudbugs can participate in that and make their own jerseys and celebrate it.
Oh yeah, and fun fact, Semi. Of course, these jerseys are about a month or so behind because, about a month or two behind because the big snowstorm here in Shreveport kind of delayed it back. But no, I completely agree with you. As someone who was born here in Louisiana and took a little hiatus over to Alabama, but still love my home state. I love the Mardi Gras spirit. Now, Sammy, I got one more question for you, and then I'm going to bring in Bryce Boucher. Always a fun conversational as he's behind
100%.
us. Yeah, he's right behind us. We're to talk to him next. Now, Sammy, I got one last question for you. Thoughts so far on the NHL season? I know it's a weird question to go into.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm always rooting for my Red Wings. But, school and hockey take up so much of my time, it's almost impossible for me to watch.
No.
But, I mean, when I do catch a game on TV once in a while, I mean, I think the season's going good for the Wings, for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. They're not doing too bad. I think they're...
What are they, third or second in their division there?
Yeah, third, and I think around second or third in the Atlantic, and then not too far out of a wild card spot. But, no, Sammy, it's... well, actually, I lied. I got one more question for you.
Go ahead.
What's your predictions on the rest of this Mudbugs season?
Well, they're going to squeak in through playoffs.
Yep.
They're going to sweep whoever they play, and I think they're going to make it to the divisional finals. I can't really say too much on there because I bet they're going to play the Brahmas, and that could go either way, knowing the Bugs and the Brahmas. So.
No, absolutely, Semi. You're right. But you know what? Love that Mudbug spirit. And you know the saying, Semi, once a Mudbug, always a Mudbug. You're always welcome back up here in the booth, Semi. Thank you for joining.
Thank you, Duncan.
Of course. And now we're going to bring in the one and only Bryce Boucher momentarily as the headset gets transferred over to Bryce Boucher. Now joining me here is Bryce Boucher. Bouch, welcome in.
Thank you.
Of course. Now, Bouch, you're living here in Shreveport now. You're doing well. What is it you're doing here in Shreveport, Wise?
I'm doing a little oil and gas work.
Nice. Okay. Good. Love to see that. Now, of course, in your time with the Bugs, was just like Mr. Andrew Seminara, created a little chaos, of course, in the 23-24 season, 141 penalty minutes, and then last season, of course, 98 penalty minutes. But unlike Mr. Seminara, he had a little more goals than him. But Bouch, it's good to see you. Well, actually, I see you every game, but it's still good to see you nonetheless. So, Bouch, firstly, what else is going on with you outside of the oil and gas work?
Oh, nothing much, really. Honestly, just been working, doing a little hunting on the side, but other than that, it's really all there is.
Oh, yeah, nothing wrong with that. Now, let me ask you something. Thoughts on the period so far as we count down the minutes here left of this intermission period. Brought to you once again by our friends at North Caddo Express Loop. They're in Vivian. Of course, if you mention the discount code MUDBUGS25, you get 10% off your order. Bryce Boucher, what's that discount code?
Mudbugs25.
Love to see it. Thank you, Bryce. All right, now, as we get back into things, Bryce, thoughts on the period once again?
Oh, yeah, it was a pretty good period. Getting a little scrappy, which you always like to see. You know, pretty even game so far.
Good. Of course, now they're raffling off some retired jerseys, Bryce, and you know you love the retired jerseys. I always see them in that. And I'm not gonna lie, of course, me and my dad come from the CHL, WPHL days, and so they're always fun to see. But now, Bryce, let me ask you something. Who's been your favorite player to watch so far this season?
Definitely Evan Hoagland. He's pretty skilled, a little feisty. He's a Mich guy too, so gotta love that.
Yep, absolutely. Of course, you're from Grand Ledge, Michigan, and he, Mr. Evan Hoagland, is from Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. So how far in distance is that? I'm not quite caught up on my Michigan geography.
It's about 4 hours, I'd say.
Okay, so it's not too bad, but not too close either.
Yeah.
All right, now, Boosh, I got one last question for you, and I'm going to let both you and Mr. Seminarin go, and I got one last question for you. Now, what's your predictions for the rest of this Bugs season?
You know, I think they're going to make playoffs, and hopefully they'll be able to make a run and just see what happens, I guess. Absolutely.
No, I mean, it's kind of like Semi said a little bit ago. You can't really go too far into predictions, but no, I definitely think a lot of Bugs fans will agree. We're going to make playoffs and go from there. Well, Mr. Boucher, thank you for joining us here on this North Caddo Express Loop first intermission show. Always good to talk to you, buddy. And, well, I'll see you both, actually, probably after the game.
Yeah, sounds good. Thank you.
All righty. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back here just in a moment after these messages here on this North Caddo Express Loop first intermission show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Crazy opening 20 minutes here in Shreveport. Here is the North Caddo Express Loop first intermission show brought to you by our friends as always at the North Caddo Express Loop in Vivian, offering all kinds of services, oil changes, inspection stickers, transmission services, and vehicle key fob batteries. Mention the discount code MUDBUGS25, that is MUDBUGS25, and get 10% off your service. 1-318-375-5823 for more information. Crazy. First period Duncan shots were 18-12 in favor of the Bugs, and well, we'll see if these two teams can keep the fire wagon moving here after the opening 20.
Crazy is a word that, yes, that can be used, but I think another word that can be used, Zach, as the wave gets rolling on, brought to us by Express Car Wash, the wave around George's Pond here inside Hirsch Coliseum. Well, maybe not absurd, but basically any synonym you can find for crazy can also be used in this first period. Of course, as you mentioned, Johnson 18-12 in favor of the Bugs. Of course, scoring got us started with Adam Matar, Jeremy Jacobs, and Nicholas Percelli on the assist on that. And then about 5 minutes later, Daniel Kukskowski, Jeremy Jacobs, and Henry Thornton to make it 2-0 Jacks. But then, not too long after that, Grayson, Gerhard, Duke, Earhart, and then Evan Hoagland got the Bugs on the board. And that was a fun goal. That was a really interesting goal. Again, we mentioned it, crazy, and it's all its synonyms in the first. Well, for that goal, you could also say that. It popped out in front. Everyone thought it was covered up. We thought it was covered up. Grayson Gerhard said, nah, and put it right past Ben Vadas. So, love to see that. Penalty-wise, though, it's been almost an even keel. Of course, the Bugs are still on the first choice personnel penalty kill for the next minute and 57 seconds off a double high sticking minor from Chase Sakrisky. And, well, that pretty much just recaps everything. But goalie-wise, Ben Vadas 17 of 18, Tyler Hodges 10 of 12. So it's an all-around game tonight, Zach, I think. But I think definitely the run-and-gun offensive between these Bugs and these Jackalopes definitely tells the story more than anything. Let's take a look at some scoreboard watching across the rest of the division in Corpus Christi, Texas. Hello. 1-1 between the Warriors and Ice Rays, a game that the Bugs, well, Bugs and Bugs fans for that matter, have to take a look at. It's 1-1 as they go into the second there. Amarillo and Lone Star 3-0 in favor of the Brahmas after a 3-goal barrage from Jackson Bates, Maddox Talacro, and Christian Ventacinque. Moving along, well, actually, I think that is, nope, one other game in the South Division, El Paso, New Mexico. Tied at 0, no goals scored for either side. Of course, here in Shreveport, though, 2-1 in favor of the Jackalopes. So, just an interesting night all around the South Division. And, of course, there's some other scores going on in the world of sports. As we mentioned earlier, a lot going on. March basketball getting ready to start the women's SEC tournament. LSU, they put up a big performance tonight against Oklahoma. That was a fun if you're an LSU Tiger fan, but I am, so it was fun for me. But, of course, some other events going on in the world of sports. You mentioned baseball, the World Baseball Classic. Dominican Republic and Nicaragua 5-3 in favor of the Dominican Republic. Team USA 3-1 over Brazil. Of course, runs were scored back in the top of the first for Team USA. Another game still on the WBC WBC schedule side of things. Czechia taking on Taipei. And earlier in the day, Puerto Rico took down Colombia 5-0. As well as Mexico taking down Great Britain, which is kind of funny to hear Great Britain in the WBC. I'll be honest, I've never thought of them as a baseballing nation. I'll be honest. Nonetheless, Mexico took them down 8-2. Venezuela, who you do think of as a baseballing nation, 6-2 over the Netherlands. Cuba 3-1, and Japan over Taipei, 13-0. As the Bugs once again make their way out of the Gemco hometown tunnel. Second period just getting ready to get underway, Zach. And I am, well, I'll save it for the puck drop, but you know what I'm going to say.
You know, you mentioned Great Britain not being a baseball country. You also mentioned Czechia, and
yeah, I didn't expect them to make it.
Yeah, no, very good at hockey, baseball. I don't think that's a baseball stronghold over there in Czechia, but you never know. You know, people come from unexpected places sometimes.
Yeah, but say Jazz Chisholm representing Great Britain, although he's not directly representing the nation of Great Britain. When I say nation, I mean like Scotland, Ireland, England. Well, when I say Ireland, I mean Northern Ireland, of course. But I'm not going to get into that because the world of British politics are not what you came to hear. You came to hear Mudbugs hockey. 2-1 Jackalopes as both teams now make their way out onto the ice.
The Bugs are back at home for a midweek makeup against the Lone Star Brahmas on the 17th. Then March 27th and 28th against the Amarillo Wranglers for Hirsch Hits Night and as well as Great Outdoors Night. And the Bugs, we mentioned a makeup game outside of that, 2 weekend series away from George's Pond. After this weekend, going to New Mexico. And then, of back to Odessa. So we see them 3 times in 5 weeks. So you got to love that.
Oh, yeah.
Schedule works out weird sometimes. But nonetheless, we're about to set to go here. Period number 2. The second period is always brought to you by your friends at Tefata and Associates, Investigative and Risk Analysis Services. If you have any personal matters, child custody cases, or internal theft problems at your business, call our main man Jerry at 318-635-9944. Discuss your case or log on to TefataPI.com. Teams have switched sides. Bucks will skate right to left in the second period. And after what we saw in the opening 20, let's see what happens here, what we can get into in the middle 20 as the puck is down at center ice, and Odessa controls this one as Giosi will leave it off into his own zone. They're back on the power play still for another minute and 51 seconds on Chase Akriski's high-sticking double minor that he got late in the first as it's played out to center by Jacobs. Up ahead, Odessa over the line, Giosi. Into the slot it comes, goes off a man there, goes over to the far corner. Picked up by the Bucks, they'll rifle it all the way down.
Good stuff as we come back into the second period on the first choice personnel penalty kill, and Odessa makes their way up.
Well, they'll bring it in over the line. Jacobs right side. Dropped it off for Thornton. Stolen away by the Bugs. They can't flip it out of the zone. Held in by Odessa. Now it goes off a body in front. It bounces to Jonah Jasser, who overskated it. Almost had an odd man rush the other way. That looked like a second baseman there. He just picked his head up before he had the puck and overskated it. Held in by the Jackalopes at the blue line. High slot, big drive. They snipe one top shelf. And it's 3-1 as the barrage continued. It's Caden Giosi, his second of the game. He's got 27 on the year, and they're back in front by 2 with a power play goal.
Yeah, just an interesting, well, not even interesting, just a rifle there from Caden Giosi and right past Tyler Hodges. So 19:03 left, still a ton of hockey left. That's the main thing. And now, interesting development here. Ethan Phillips will take the place of Tyler Hodges. So we'll have to see how the man from Rochester, New York, and the future Friar fares out there. Give him some time to warm up. And actually, Zach, before we move on, Ethan Phillips took a knock in practice, but he skated earlier this morning. He's feeling better. He's feeling good. He's gonna work through it. He's got to work through it here as the Bucks now down 3-1.
Ethan Phillips into the game, 4-6-1 overall, 248 goals against, .918 save percentage. And again, Tyler Hodges has been big all season long, but he struggled against Lone Star and off to a shaky start tonight. So head coach Jason Soupy Campbell making the change here as Phillips is in net. Down to our right, he gives the referee the signal that he's ready to go, and we're back underway at center ice as it's picked up by Reed and slapped into the offensive end. Picked up right of the net for Shea Berry. Flips it up the wall, intercepted by the Bugs. They have it below the goal line. Now they got to get the offense starting to go. Let's see if the goalie change maybe sparks something for the Bugs. Not that they had any shortage of offense with 18 shots in the first period. High slot, it's Griner. Toes the line, turns one, and he fired it on net. Vadas gets a stop and flips over to the far corner. Picked back up by Odessa. Big collision behind the play that time. Up ahead, it's brought in over the line by Berry. He spun down off of the puck, and then Tremblay lost his helmet as he went down. Brought back in over the line. Reed down the slot, tried to tip it on net. Turned aside again, flipped over to the near corner. Behind the goal line it goes as the helmet of Willie Tremblay skitters all the way down the ice as the puck goes the other direction. So that is icing with 18-16 left, and John Burnt will go provide Willie his helmet back on the bench.
Like 2 ships crossing in the night. You see a white beacon and a black puck. Like two passing ships in the night. Yeah, it's an interesting set, of course. All icing this season is always brought to you by our friends at Louder Baking Company. That's Louder Baking Company.
Bucks jump the draw, try to pitchfork it at the net. It goes below the goal line, no, controlled by Odessa. Defensive end flipped up the wall, but not out of the zone quite yet, as Odessa can't clear. Now they'll get it back, near corner for Shea Berry. Berry stands on top of the goal line, flips it out. Gerhardt gloves it down, high slot. Grayson at the circle, lifted one wide. Went up over top the net, flipped up the wall again, held in by Owen Case. Left point, slings it across to the far wall for Gerhardt. In the corner, he'll cycle up towards the blue line. Grayson looking around a D. Down to the top of the left circle, leaves it off for Evan Adams. Adams snaps it for Case. Case back near side now for Hoagland. Bugs moving the puck well on this zone entry as Hoagland will slap it around the boards as he got hit, and it's lifted out to center ice. It's not going to be enough for icing. It was tipped. Goes on net. Phillips gets the first touch on it, and it goes all the way back behind the goal line. Flipped out, outlet pass is broken up, brought it over the line now. It's Kuskowski down the slot, passes to himself around a defender. Lost it, gets it back, throws it towards the crease. And it comes all the way back out to center. Odessa picks it back up. Almost 3 minutes gone here in period number 2. 3-1, Jackalopes with the lead. Off the back of the net, Bugs again can't clear, goes high slot. Left off at the right point, down low. Big shot there, turned aside, rebound comes out in front. Hoagland picks it up, he kicks it to his stick, and he lifts it out of the zone. And it's going to bounce all the way down and go for icing with 16:52 left here in the second period. And the Bugs got some good offensive zone pressure that time. Duncan turned away a few shots in the defensive end, but now they've got another D-zone draw to contend with.
Yep, that's just, well, Zach, I think that's really all that can be said there. And good on Ethan Phillips so far to come in when he does, nonetheless. And now Grayson Gerhardt coming back out. They tried to get a change out, but can't do it. But Grayson Gerhardt's able to get this offense moving, and that's the good thing, that he's able to get the offense moving. Although, it's weird. You don't really want to rely necessarily on one player, but if I did have to pick one player to rely on getting the offense moving, Grayson Gerhardt.
Gerhardt, again, has been big. He's got a goal tonight. He's got 28 points since joining the Bucks, including 7 goals. Far wall it comes. Flipped up the wall towards the blue line, but not out quite yet. Odessa holds it in. Left point. High slot. Shot batted up in the air. Bugs try to throw it out. It goes to Grayson Gerhardt's stick. Lost it at the blue line. Will lift it back into his own end as the Bugs will set something up offensively here. Up the near wall. Flipped up to center ice. Looking for the headman pass to the blue line. Through Griner's skates. Turned over. That was Birchfield rather. Now when Case tries to love it down to his stick, he gets knocked off the puck. Eventually comes for Chase Sakrisky, who works behind his net, slams on the brakes and stays to the near side. Up the wall for Owen Case. He corrals the Karam. Up to center and over the line it comes. Jasser around to D. Got it through it to Birchfield walking down the slot. And he couldn't corral it cleanly. Goes off the side of the net. Rebound comes up the far wall. Held in. Blowing a tire there is Sakrisky. Still gets it into the corner. Slid up top for Zach Wilson. He'll fire a one-time blast off of the boards. And a nice stop by Vonnis there. And Wilson, that's something he loves to do there. He triangulates off the boards, and he does one-time slap shot with the puck rolling to him.
Well, no, and I mean, he has a powerful slap shot. That he does. I mean, I would take that too. I mean, I would take that opportunity too. I mean, worst case to worst, it goes wide, and you set up a defensive play. Well, play for your defense, then I should add. But in case Zach Wilson, a towering slap shot like that can lead to a goal, but Vonnis just came up with the glove.
6'6", 200, uses all of that frame, just like Fulton Reed does in the Mighty Ducks franchise.
Yep.
Goes all the way down, and they will wash icing off as Phillips had to play it. It looked like the Bugs were the ones who dumped that anyway, but nonetheless, we play on. Bugs right to left in the second period. Harassed off the puck at center. Remy will try to save it, flips it to the middle. Over the center logo, it's brought in now by Toms. Right point. Just barely stays on side and lifts one through the crease, which is held on to by Phillips for a whistle with 15-17 left in the middle frame. 3-1, Odessa on top.
It's 2 for 12 Coors Light time.
2 for 12, that's a good deal.
2 for 12, yeah. Coors Light, our good corporate partners there, made to chill. And always a proud sponsor of Mudbugs hockey. We've got our 2 face-off dots with the Colorado Mountains off in the distance there with Coors Light.
As well as the Mountain Lodge over there, and they're having a great time over there. Good view. It's a good view too.
In the corner it goes, flipped off the wall. Bugs will flip it to center. Up ahead it goes, and it's tracked down eventually by the Jackalopes at their own blue line. Flipped off the wall, up ahead into the zone. Goes off of the stick of Pankratz. Glove down at the left point. Big drive there, stopped by Phillips. That's really the first big test he's faced with a shot from long distance, and he's up to the task to stop it with 14:53 left to go in the second.
Absolutely, and of course it's the wherewithal of Ethan Phillips coming into this game, able to collect that puck at his chest and just send it on down to cover it up, because it looked like it was coming out, but nonetheless, the wherewithal of Ethan Phillips, good stuff.
Chasing to take the draw. Now the linesman's getting all the wingers set. The Bugs put 3 guys right in front of the net. Let's see who ends up winning the draw. Goes to the Bugs as they send it right into the slot where Reed will wrap it around the board. Comes up the wall near side to the blue line. Birchfield plays it out ahead for Jasser. Jasser knocked off the puck. Steals it right back. Jonah in over the blue line left side. Down to the bottom of the left circle. Still looks, trying to hit the trailer. Couldn't get it to him. Bugs will hold it in at the right point. Nice play there with a skate, but eventually Odessa will deke around the Bugs and try to play it. Slant across near side. Thornton up to the center. Josie picks it up in the referee crease. Slides it across left side. Brought in over the line now by Thornton. He'll send a shot that goes whistling around the kick plate. Picked up near side. Kuskowski. Kuskowski still has it at the near hash marks, trying to move it into open ice. Bugs doing a good job defensively, keeping things along the wall. The Krisky backhands it up, and the newcomer, Charlie Birchfield, dumps in, takes a check. He'll go off for a change, eventually tracked down by Henry Thornton, back of his net. Works off to the near side. 13:57 left to go in the second, and the Let's Go Mudbugs chant starts here at George's Pond. Good crowd on hand for game one of our Mardi Gras weekend. These jerseys will be auctioned off after the game tomorrow night. As the puck squirts behind the cage, picked up by the Bugs again. Defensive end giveaway right out in front at point-blank range. Alex Thomas couldn't drive it home. Goes over to the wall again. Bugs almost, that's what hurt him against Lone Star. 3 of the 6 Lone Star goals came off of turnovers just like that one. Big stop for Phillips. Goes far side for Earhart, who backhanded in. Grayson jumps over a defender. Back for Earhart. They're streaking down the slot. Lost the puck in the corner. Duke gets it back up the near half wall towards the blue line, but held in. Now Catalano starts it the other way, and for Odessa, he'll dump it in. Phillips gets a piece of it, near wall, flipped up towards the blue line. Bugs can't clear it out. Goes in front of the net, where they'll now play it for Grayson Gerhardt. Into slot, leaves it off to the left. Pinching Odessa defense, not something we usually see them do very much, and they've done a lot here today. Here's Toms, whiffs on a shot from the right point. They hold on to it, though, to the Jackalopes. Pankrat snaps it across left side. That shot whistles through the crease. Comes up the boards. Toms will leave it into the corner. Picked up by Owen Case behind the cage. 12:45 left, second period. 3-1 to score in favor of the in favor of the Jackalopes, rather. Wish it was in favor of the Bugs. That'd be nice. Far side, in the corner it goes. Picked up by Jeremy Jacobs for a moment. Now the Bugs will play it to center and just barely over the blue line. Hunter Toms tracks it down. He rifles it back in. Owen Case picks it up far corner. Case has it, snaps it across. Right in front of the net. Gerhardt starts to break out from his own blue line around the defender. Will play it to center. On top of the red line, Gerhardt got knocked down there. Gerhardt's whacking at the puck, and it's under a Jackalope, so that'll draw a whistle in the neutral zone. Face off with 12-12 left here in the second.
You know, we mentioned we mentioned 3 of the 6 goals that the Brahmas of Lone Star had against the Bugs on Sunday night came from a defensive turnover like that. And, I mean, A, it's true, obviously, or else I wouldn't have said it, but B, you've seen that a lot with this Bugs team, is that the defensive turnovers kill this team. I do mean kill this team, but nonetheless, just a good bounce back so far from this offense, and even from Ethan Phillips for that matter.
Wilson swings it over open ice far side, goes off of the boards near side. Off the corners, picked up by Whitted. Whitted knocked off the puck, but Odessa slings it to the wall. Wilson tracks it back down. Nice move around the defender. Can't get around the second one. Lost it. Now gets it back and leaves it off for Simons, who turns and fires it into the corner. Comes far side. Up the wall, Lemaire plays it. At the far hash marks, Bugs trying to play it to the blue line, but it's held in just barely from the right point. Goes on net, and that's covered up for a whistle. And Vinny will snap his head around and stare down Lemaire, who got a P7 going down the slot. We'll take a quick timeout. 11:42 left in the middle frame. 3-1 our score. Jackalopes on top of the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mr. Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Odessa on top of the Bugs. 11:42 to go here in period number 2 as a hometown hero being honored here at the Pond on this Friday night. Odessa will be back in town again tomorrow night as well. 7:11 p.m. puck drop for Marty Party version number 2. The hometown hero again honored here to a standing ovation. Lots of hometown heroes tonight. We had a swearing-in ceremony pregame, and now a veteran being honored on Made in America night, also in conjunction with Marty Party with the makeup game. Always love to see that here with the Mudbugs. Barksdale Air Force Base, not too far down the road, and a long legacy of honoring those that have served us. And a lot of people come to Shreveport via the Barksdale Air Force Base, so a deep military connection here in Western Louisiana.
Absolutely, and you know, there's a fun story. So on September 11, 2001, of course, George W. Bush was, of course, at an elementary school reading. If you've ever seen the meme, I'll wrap it up shortly as the face-off gets here. Nonetheless, George W. Bush, the president at the time, because I always get HW and W confused, but nonetheless, he flew on to Barksdale Air Force Base. My mother could hear his plane, Air Force One, overhearing, but I'll get back to that later.
Here they come. Odessa quickly into the zone. Lost the puck in the left corner. John Burnt gets a piece of it, tries to clear it. Can't give away right in front. Phillips with a kick save. Comes over to the near wall. Flipped up far side again, or near side again. In the corner, big check delivered there. Bounces free for Birchfield to win the foot race to it. Kicks it up the wall, but not out of the zone. Held in by Mullins. Mullins, right point diving. Stop in front of him by a Bug. They've got a 3-on-1 developing. And over the line is Sakrisky at the circle. He pulls the trigger. His shot turned aside. Chase gets it back at the goal line. Spun off the puck this time, facing off against two Jackalopes. Down to a knee, and the referee took a high stick that time from Sakrisky. Chase gets it back, and he gets knocked down at the top of the left circle. Odessa works it free towards the blue line and out of the zone now to center. Outlet pass doesn't connect. This is going to be icing with 10:46 left. Although it didn't look like the back linesman ever signaled icing to initiate it, but it was indeed icing, so that'll stop time 10:46.
It was. So to correctly tell the story, George W. Bush, of course, once he was notified of the terrorist attacks on September 11th, he was flown to Barksdale Air Force Base here in Shreveport Bossier. So my mother, and we didn't live that far from Barksdale Air Force Base, so she could hear Air Force One roaring over our house, and it's one of those stories that always gets to us. Hello.
Big drive there, covered up. Everybody crashes towards the net, but cooler heads prevail for another whistle. 10:41. We'll do it again. Odessa on top. Ozone drop coming here for the Bugs. Far side. The offense has been rolling, just haven't been able to get it past Vadas. It's the same story the last time the Bugs played them on a Friday. Here's John Burnt. He fires one right as we're talking about it. And Johnny Burnt, he goes top shelf. Pulls back to within one as he scores his 13th goal of the season. He continues his hot run. It's his second goal in 5 games. And his 8th point in 5 games. And with 10:38 left, the Bugs are back to within 1.
Let's go, Johnny Burnt. Love to see it. You know, we've been talking about him all night. An offensive defenseman. I love that at Johnny Burnt. It's great. It's absolutely great to see Johnny Burnt get us back on the score sheet, get it past Vadas, and just help this deficit get ever so close to down. But nonetheless, Johnny Burnt.
I love when the broadcaster jinx works in favor of you.
I love it.
It gets you, it bites you too much, so it's nice to get one here. And 10:38 left in the second, back to within 1. Again, it's John Burnt's 13th goal of the season, his 8th point in 5 games. He has just been on fire lately.
Really has, and it's excellent to see Johnny Burnt. I mean, there's not many other words you can say about Johnny Burnt, of course. The man from Wheaton, Illinois, actually one of a few Illinois-based kids. Of course, the other one being Vinny DiUlio from Homer Glen, Illinois. Home of a lot of other famous, famous depending on who you ask. A lot of other famous, I'll use famous again, I'll just go with that. A lot of other Mudbug alumni, of course. A lot of other Mudbug alumni come to mind, but from Homer Glen, Illinois. But back to the main focal point at hand, because I'll admit I do get in some tangents. Bugs back in it. Love it.
You know, you kind of mentioned that there's only 2 players from Illinois. It's a really balanced team geographically. You've got Texas represented, lots of Pennsylvania,
Ohio,
a few Colorado, a few different spots in Colorado, but Colorado nonetheless.
Yeah.
Michigan's got a few kids. And yeah, really just a balanced overall. A couple Canadians as well. As it's controlled by Odessa. Now they've got a 1-goal lead. Things are tightening up here with 10:31 left in the second. As John Burnt continues to play like his hair is on fire. Here's Gerhard, right side. At the circle, hits the break. Throws it into the slot, turned aside. And Odessa starts it back the other way. Jackalopes have it. Wide of Catalano's stick at center. It's played by Earhart. He'll turn and fire it in towards the net. Batted down in a high slot by Toms. Toms feeds it off to the left in front of the benches. And Jackalopes again able to get unable to get it past the red line as they'll play it behind the goal now. 10 minutes exactly to go. Second period. Catalano to the right of the center circle. Sticks it in open ice to the left. Down to the bottom of the left circle. And a man down the slot lost a tire. And he's unable to corral it. Goes up towards the blue line. Held in though. Catalano backhanded through the air. Whistles just right. Pick back up. Centering feet there. Goes off the side of the net. And the Bugs pick it back up behind the cage. Here they come into open ice right side. Gerhard kicks it forward. Goes off for a change as icing is washed out. Picked back up by Odessa. They'll start the breakout up the right side of the ice. At the red line, it's stolen away again by the Bugs. Doing a good job of keeping Odessa away from the blue line. Now they turn it over, though. Brought in by the Jackalopes down the slot, right in front. Jacobs couldn't get his stick free of Lopez Corsi, providing a screen down the slot. And he will flip it up for Jared Griner at the left point. Gets knocked down, but a puck comes out. Griner back up to his feet. Bugs have the puck. Tremblay spins off a defender, dumps it in. It goes on net. Then Lopez Corsi gets tripped up going towards the cage. And luckily nothing more developing there with 9:06 to go here in the second.
You know, it's actually good to see Gabriel Lopez Corsi in the lineup, the McMasterville, Quebec native. Good family, too. His dad came down earlier in the year during Christmas, gave out some wonderful and useful gifts, actually. Gave out a power bank, a charger power bank. Of course, you need that on a long bus ride, especially the one we're going to take to New Mexico next week. But no, it's good to see Gabriel Lopez Corsi. It's good to see that he's okay as well, because when you charge in like that and trip over, yeah. Well, let's just say I've seen things happen. I've seen a thing or two, as the famous insurance jingle goes, but I'll leave that to the imagination of all as the Bugs are able to try to get out of the zone, and we do.
Talby gives off to the right. Gabe Lopez Corsi making his third appearance in the last couple of weeks. Big hit there, knocks a man down, and then getting up and throwing a punch somebody's way is Julio. And now we got a meeting of the minds at two different places. There's a 4-car pileup along the half wall in front of the crease. There were two others going after each other, and that's gonna.
Ryan Baird, I couldn't tell the Jackalope player involved, but it was Ryan Baird on the other side of things. And the puck actually went into the Bucks bench. Apropos of all the things, the puck went into the bench, but nobody was focused on that. They were focused on the two different hullabaloos going on. And no, that is not a word somebody asked me to say. That's just a word that came to my mind.
Bateman knocked down Diulio. Diulio got up and sent a forearm shiver his way. And that's kind of what started all of that. But no penalties on the board. Neutral zone draw with 8:47. As we were talking about before that, Lopez Corsi played one game against Corpus Christi, one game against Odessa. That broke a streak of a couple of games he was not in the lineup for. So, again, good to see him back out there contributing for the Bugs. There's another tie-up behind the play. Up ahead, it's Birchfield behind the cage. Will try to spin off a defender. Leaves it now for Evan Adams. Adams up the far side wall. Sent back into the middle of the ice. Bucks are moving the puck effectively. Owen Case with a three-player entry. Drops it off for Jonah. Left side. Back for Case. Pitchforks it towards the net. And somehow it didn't go by Vadas. What a chance for the Bugs. Back to center it comes. Odessa flips it to the Bugs blue line. And Jonah Johnson will leave it back for Owen Case. And now the Bugs turn it over. Defensive end. Far wall again. Owen Case. Around two Odessa defenders will flip it to the blue line. Now it's Jonah up into open ice. Off to the right. Couldn't corral it cleanly, but now it's eventually controlled. Far corner it's played. Slid up the wall for Remy. Back across left side for Wilson. Wilson drives one. Pushed it wide. Goes far side again for Remy. Tracks it down. Right hash marks. Down low for Simons below the goal line. Looking for a play. Will backhand up the wall for Wilson. Wilson kicks it to his stick. Back for Birchfield now. Below the goal line it comes again. Far corner. Bugs have it again. Looking to try to cycle it towards the blue line. Stolen away by Odessa. In the corner, it's picked up for Xander Mullins. He'll wrap it around the board's far side. 7:28 to go, period number 2. Bugs trying to force a turnover. Good play by Earhart to go after the man hanging out behind the net. That's Mullins. Slipped up the wall, far side. Now back out to center ice for McPherson. Down the wing. knocked off the puck. In the slot, rather, that was Kuskowski. That 13 looks a lot like a 12 out there.
Yeah.
Now back the other way, Earhart, the real 12. Down the slot, tried to get it back for him. He missed it. Couldn't corral it cleanly, and Odessa starts it up again. Here's Toms. Blows the tire and goes down, but he slaps it all the way to the Bugs' end. Wilson tracks it down, backhands it up the wall, give it away. 3-on-2 developing. Right down the doorstep. Couldn't poke it home. Wow, what a great chance for Odessa. Just couldn't corral it cleanly. Goes behind the cage again. Still fighting for it that time. It's Kuskowski. But it's stolen away eventually by the Bugs. Wrapped around the boards in the corner. Picked up by Gerhardt. He'll leave it off for Wilson. Sent it back across again. 6.5 to go. Second period. Up to center. Turned over as Tom will break it down the slot. Tom's off to his left. Big drive there. Saved by Phillips. He stepped in front of it. Comes far side off the half wall. Kiosi grabs it down at the blue line before it's banked out to center by the Bugs. Back and forth we go. Here's Toms again. Down to the bottom of the right circle. Centering feed there for Catalano. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Bugs will force it to the wall. They'll start the breakout. Lift it ahead. And not going to be enough for icing if that puck keeps sliding. But it does not get to the red line. Up at Bugs, we're on a change. Careful here. Here's Catalano. He'll hesitate at center. Leaves it off to the left. Brought in over the line, but immediately stolen away by John Burnt. Slap it up the wall back to center ice. Now it's turned over. Lopez Corsi through his skates. Brought in by Catalano. Swings it off to the left. That shot whisted wide. Comes all the way back up top. Man off the bench. Cut down the slot. Big drive, and the Bugs will dive in front of it. Comes far side again. Picked up the half wall. Below the goal line again comes Odessa. Offensive end. Bugs trying to force a turnover there. As Tremblay favoring that left foot after he got hit by diving the puck to block it. 5.5 to go. Second period. Up the wall for Griner. On the near side. Cuts through the middle logo. Now leaves it off for Tremblay over the line. Kicks it to his stick. Back for Griner. Griner left corner. Hits the brakes. Lost the puck as he's tied up there with a couple of jackalopes. Worked up the wall. Held in by Reed. Reed will backhand it towards the blue line. Held in by Owen Case. He'll fire a drive. That stopped. Griner was on the doorstep. Couldn't poke in the rebound, and that's covered with 5:06 to go. Well set up that time by the Bugs.
So as we have finally come to a whistle somewhat. I say somewhat, I don't know why I said that, but down here, Odessa, one of Odessa's better chances. Just again, it was an example of a defensive turnover that almost ended badly. Luckily, the puck luck or the hockey gods said no.
Bugs trail 3-2, but a back and forth close game. This one goes off the top of the glass all the way down, and it is gonna make it all the way down for icing as Owen Case won a foot race. Stops time with 4:58. Another Louder Baking Company icing call.
Of course, as always, ladies and gentlemen, Mudbugs hockey tonight, and as always, it's brought to you by our friends at Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area. You know, whether you're grilling outdoors, looking for a hearty and flavorful sausage for breakfast, preparing a gumbo platter, anything else, including a crawfish boil, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for any and all occasions. Available at all major grocery stores. Again, that's Down Home Meats at all major grocery stores, Zach.
Zakrisky won it to the wall. Stolen away, though, by Henry Thornton. Haven't called his name in a while for the Jackalopes, but he'll lift it into the zone from the blue line. Evan Adams with a foot race to it. Behind the cage, works off to the left side. Jackalope got taken down behind the play. Now back the other way. Here's Birchfield in over the line. Hits the trailer in the slot. That was Adams. He gets it back. Centering feed right on the doorstep, and just pushing it wide was Jonah Jasser with a great chance. Back the other way quickly. Hit over the line, Matar into the slot. Turned aside. Played back up to the blue line and all the way out. Xander Mullins has to play it, and then Jonah Jasser pokes it away from him. Jasser gets hauled down. Let's see who the penalty is going to be on. Lots of mutual contact both way. It looks like Jasser's going to draw the penalty, and the Bugs get back to the power play. It's a holding call coming up, and the Odessa bench is not too pleased on that one. His head coach throws his arms with his palms to the sky that time. But lots of contact both ways, but Odessa ends up getting called for holding, and the Bugs back to the power play late in the second with a chance to tie it up.
Absolutely. Fans getting pumped up for this Scott Powerline power play. And no, you're right, though, Zach. There was a lot of contact on both sides. And I'll be honest, when head referee threw his arms up, I was a little like, okay, that's going against Jasser. No, it goes the other way. They're on Xander Mullins, so Scott Powerline power play unit goes to work.
Earhart has it. Left hash marks. Cuts towards the slot. Couldn't get it cleanly. Now it's picked back up by the Bugs. High slot for Burnt. Goes off the edge of his stick. Almost a chance for Jacobs, but now the Bugs enter the zone once again. Tremblay around a defender. Crashes toward the net. Backhanded feed in the crease. Couldn't get it home. Goes back up towards the blue line, gloved down by Johnny Burt. Burt snaps it across the blue line, down near side again. Earhart, top of the circle, centering feet in the slot, cut down was Tremblay. He tried to one-time it, gets turned aside. Here's Grayson again. Grayson, left circle. His shot goes off the side of a Jackalope in front. Wrapped around the boards, comes far sidewards, controlled by Arrington. He'll flip it out to center ice as the Bugs have to regroup. Minute 15 to go on the power play. John Byrne into open ice, couldn't hit Hoagland. It goes all the way down into the corner, and it's going to be fired around the kick plate and all the way down by Odessa.
So far, good effort by the Scott Powerline power play, Zach, and just want to see it continue.
Here's Hoagland, kicks it into the zone. Bugs couldn't get it cleanly, and it's rifled down again. And this Odessa penalty kill, which is second to worst in the league, having a good showing here on this effort. As the Bugs turn it over, down the slot, big chance for Kuskowski, fires it, and Phillips will decide to play it, so it comes far side. Bugs back the other way, 3-on-2, and over the line. Into the zone, looking for a high slot drive. That's turned aside. Picked up by Lemaire, and he'll fire it all the way down again with 34 seconds to go on the Bugs man advantage as Phillips is out of his net, left side to play to leave it off at the circle for Owen Case, who works behind the cage. Case off to his right now, dances to the left around a defender. Drops it off at his own blue line once more. Bugs will bring it up the ice. It's Griner who's knocked off stride, gets hit down by Whitted. Puck squirts free into the corner. Jasser can't save it. It goes all the way down, and Owen Case is going to have to race Catalano for it. Case swings it across near side. 7 seconds to go on the power play. Griner back for Owen Case up the middle of the ice. Into the offensive zone. Drops off for Birchfield. Goes off of Whitted, who stepped in front of it. And now we're back 5-on-5, and Griner's got to be careful. Man out of the box was coming down on him in a hurry from behind. Now it's played back of the cage for Adams. Adams to the right of the goal. Tries to spin off a defender. Skated right into the defender, though, and it's turned over by the Bugs. It's left point. In the slot. Big drive there. One-timer. It's turned aside off of Pankrat's stick. Comes up into the near corner. Wrapped around the board's far side now. Tracked down by Thomas. Thomas lost it in the corner. Bugs get it back. Sent up into open ice. Got to go on offense. Minute 46 to go in the second. Here's Griner into the zone. Drops it off. Down the slot. Backhand shot. It went off the side of the net. And a Bug gets knocked down in front of the goal. He's slow to get up. Odessa's got to settle it down here. They'll flip it up to center. Icing, potentially. Foot race for it. No. Going to be won by Odessa. No, fire a shot from the left circle. That's turned aside. Odessa on a change. Bugs will play it up. It's Barrett. Into the offensive zone come the Bugs. Drop back off for Ryan Barrett, left circle. He's knocked off the puck. Goes behind the cage. Wolf Talby in a foot race for it. Going to be won by Whitted, though. Minute 12 to go. Second period. Up ahead. Odessa's got a 2-on-1 developing here. Left circle, big drive, stopped by Phillips. He turns to the side. Rob Bercelli that time, up ahead. Can't rally cleanly with Simon. Now he brings it in over the line, takes a check, and gets knocked down in the left corner there. Puck is kicked towards the middle, eventually controlled by Odessa behind the cage. Zone away though, Simons gets it back off the back of the net. Centering feet in the slot, slides all the way up to the blue line. Shot there, turned aside, goes in the left corner. Wilson will save it. Left point, snaps it across for Reed. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Goes back out to center. 40 seconds to go in the period. Dumped in as Barrett was going off for a change. Delayed offside. The Bugs will tag up, and Odessa starts to break out once more. 33 seconds to go in the period. Up ahead, this is going to be icing. All the way back down, and Johnny Byrne wins the race to it, and that's going to bring us all the way back down and give us a stoppage here in the final 30 seconds.
Of course, coming up in 28.7 seconds and a little beyond. Of course, part of the Sonic Drive-In second of this show, delivered to you by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In, this is how we Sonic. I'll be talking to number 37, Jason Simons. And fun fact, his nickname is Simmer, but it's spelled Simons. But that's not the weirdest nickname he's ever been called. We'll leave that to hello.
Big drive there, turned aside, never got to the net, went off a Jackalope in front. That was Henry Thornton. Slid back up to the blue line. 22 seconds ago. Burt, one-time drive, goes off of the crossbar. That's his second crossbar the Bugs have hit today. It goes all the way back down, 14 seconds. John Burt's going to win the foot race to it. This is going to be icing. So another offensive zone drawn. The Bugs set it up perfectly, but the iron again unkind for the second time today.
Oh, you're not kidding, Zach. I mean, I'll be honest, it looked like it, for the lack of a better phrase, it looked like it tickled some twine. I'm not going to lie. It felt like there was a little bit of like net movage. Like when I say net, I mean the netting movage. And not from the outside, from the inside.
That is one of the reviewable scenarios, the only reviewable scenarios, but looks like Soupy's got to hold on to his challenge. Goes up towards the blue line, shot there, never got to the net. Bugs track down the rebound with 6. Up to the blue line for Burt, can't corral it cleanly, comes back out to center. That's going to do it for the second 20 minutes here. The Bugs get a couple of goals in a crazy period. 3-2 the final, or the score here after 2 periods of play, as teams will head off to their benches. But again, a good second period. Bugs got the offense rolling. They had a great chance right there before the end of the period to tie up the game. Just hit the post. And, well, if you head to the intermission, you love to see you started to build some of that forward momentum.
Absolutely. Again, it goes back to those keys. Aggressive forecheck. Actually, it hit pretty much almost 3 out of the 4. Of course, the fourth one being the special teams battle. But even then, the fourth one, the special teams battle, that has been hit tonight. That's been hit tonight. But no, the chances the Bugs have been able to produce tonight has hit 3 out of 4, and even 4 out of 4, like I said, of those coaches' keys to the game. The aggressive forecheck, the offensive energy to generate goals, and outworking the Odessa Jackalopes every shift. Hello. Sorry, it looks like the shirt was coming up here. I guess it's all about perspective, I'll be honest. But no, but what I'm trying to say is, as we look at the shot total, 26-20 in favor of the Bugs. So a low shot period, but of course, one of those goals rather was one of those shots rather was a goal. So nonetheless, Zach, just in an interesting period to go going hand in hand with the crazy first period as Jonah Jasser is the last Bug to leave the playing surface. But just an interesting period. And like I mentioned here in a little bit, my conversation with Jason Simons. Like I said, one of his nicknames is an interesting one that saved into my lexicon, but we'll get to that a little later on as part of this Sonic Drive-In second intermission show, Zach.
Shots were 8-8, as you mentioned, in the second period, playing a little bit more of the Bug style of play after that crazy back and forth 18-12 shot first period. We'll take a timeout. The second intermission show is on the other side here at the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Did you know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport? Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke-flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun Flint or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Odessa on top 3-2 after the opening 2 periods of play here. Before we get to Duncan Welker's sit down with Jason Simons, we'll take a look at the scoring summary thus far. Adam Matar got the first goal of the game at the 9:32 mark of the first. That was his 10th goal of the season. Jeremy Jacobs and Nicholas Percelli got the assist on that one. Daniel Kuskowski followed up at the 4:14 mark. Again, Jacobs getting another assist along with Henry Thornton. Grayson Gerhardt opened up the scoring for the Bucks, his 13th of the season overall, and his 9th as a Bug at the 3.5-minute mark of that first period. Then after the first intermission, Caden Giosi got his first goal of the game, not even a minute into that second period on the power play before John Burnt got the final tally. 3-2 our score after 2 minutes of play, and that's how we stand after a crazy first period. Shots 18-12, then 8-8 in that second period. A little more normalcy back in that game in the second frame, and 3-2 is our score after 2 periods of play here in Shreveport. We'll take another quick timeout, and Duncan Walker sits down with Jason Simons on the other side here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Congratulations! You kept a plant alive another day. You deserve a refreshing reward. Introducing new Whataburgers from Whataburger. You finally returned a text. Thumbs up emoji. You hung up a shirt. You changed a light bulb. You walked the dog around the whole block. Attaboy, it's treat time. The new prickly pear raspberry Whataburger from Whataburger.
An icicle treat for every small feat. What a burger.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
For the big, small, short, tall. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
Welcome back to the Sonic Drive-In second intermission show, delivered to you by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. Sonic Drive-In, this is how we Sonic. Now joining me is Mudbugs forward number 37, Jason Simons. Simmer, welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, of course, once again, and of course, last time we talked to you was back in almost late December. I can see El Paso Rhinos, but that game, geez, that weekend was interesting.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Simmer, of course, we come into this weekend against the Odessa Jackalopes, a team we saw a little more recently than others, and we'll actually see them once again here in a little bit on the road. But so basically, what I'm trying to say is a lot of jackalope sightings these past couple of weeks, Simmer. But speaking of which, Simmer, I'm very curious about something. So your name is spelled Simons, but your nickname is Simmer.
Yes.
So it's a weird thing to ask, I know, but is that the weirdest nickname you've ever been called, Simmer, or is there other ones?
No, honestly, to be honest, in my whole life, I've kind of been called like J Smooth or Smooth. So yeah,
J Smooth.
So this is a new nickname for me, but my brother has always been called Simmer. So
okay, fair enough. Okay, but J Smooth, that's a new one. Where'd you pick up that at?
So when I was younger, about 8 years old, I had really smooth hands in baseball, and my coach just kind of started calling me that, and then it's just been my nickname ever since.
Okay, J Smooth. You know what? I'm going to keep that in the lexicon, but. Nonetheless, Simmer, we come into tonight, as I mentioned, against the Odessa Jackalopes, a team that has been doing pretty well. Of course, they're 3 points behind the Mudbugs, so as we wind down this regular season, every game, I think at this point, is crucial. Don't you think, Simmer?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, we just got to keep working hard and hopefully get in a better playoff spot.
Absolutely, of course. When you look at the standings-wise, although the Bugs and Oklahoma Warriors are tied on points, the Oklahoma Warriors do have the head-to-head matchup now that at least games-wise, everything's kind of smoothed out somewhat, because before the Bugs had a advantage with a game in hand, but everything's smoothed out. So now we're back to even playing field, Simmer, in terms of standings-wise. But nonetheless, you're right, though. So, speaking of the last time we came to you, of course, the last time we came to you was, well, against the first-seeded Lone Star Brahmas, first seed in the South Division, and that in a game that, well, I think a lot of people want to forget, not only on the ice, but, well, everywhere else in the city of Shreveport that day, people want to forget with the water. Simmer, what was your reaction to how that all went down? Not only the game, but obviously, but about the water situation as well. First, then into the game.
Just honestly, it's always hard playing 3 games in 3 days, and just a make-up game, playing a different team after playing the same team 2 days in a row, and I think we just kind of had a hiccup and everything, and it's just the water didn't help, but we just got to keep going and hopefully win these 2 this weekend.
Absolutely. And speaking of that Lone Star Marama's game, of course the Bugs fell 6-2, which it was kind of a unique game in which anytime we face the Ram, there's always a bit of scrap or something else. Not as much scrapping as I thought.
No, yeah, honestly, just going back to that 3 games in 3 days, for both teams, I just think about it. Maybe the guys are a little exhausted or whatever, but we had a good week at practice this week, bouncing back, and ready to go for this weekend.
Absolutely. Now, Simmer, we're going to move away from the hockey side of things, at least for now. Simmer, what's going on in your world currently outside of hockey?
Honestly, not much, to be honest. You're usually here at the rink, where we're hanging out with my billet family, so been having fun with that, playing knee hockey with the little kids or whatever, so, just having a good time with that.
Nice. Of course, today, not only today, but tomorrow, as part of our Mardi Gras weekend, of course, we have the Mardi Gras specialty jerseys. Now, I think I asked you last time we were in El Paso, or it may have been the series prior to the first time we were in El Paso, about the Mardi Gras jerseys. What's your thoughts on them?
I personally love them. I think they're really cool, just the color wave and everything. It really just brings it all out, but, and just matches and goes well with us, so.
Absolutely, and normally this was a question I had asked the guys during, what was going to be our Mardi Gras weekend. What was your experience like with tasting king cake for the first time? Because were you a part of that?
I was actually not, so I still have not tasted king cake. Yeah, so.
You know what? I'm about to say, if you get a chance, you got to try some.
I know, I do have to get on that.
So. Especially because our friends and partners at Louder Baking Company have some for sale out in the lobby actually tonight.
Oh, really? Okay.
And they're going to have it tomorrow for those of you who decided to take a Friday night off. That's fine. Come on out tomorrow and get a nice slice of that Louder's king cake. But Simmer, back to you. I talked to Nando Poloni last week, and he said he has an interesting talent fishing. What about you? You have any interesting talents that we don't know about?
Trying to think. Honestly, just kind of love sports. Just.
No, yeah, I get
feel like that's kind of my hidden talent in other sports. Got the baseball. Oh, spike ball is personally one of my favorites. I could always go out there, chuck a few cornhole bags. But I do love fishing as well. Fishing is very, very fun.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. It was interesting to hear from Nando because I didn't really take him for much of a fisherman. But okay, so you know what, spike ball. I'm gonna have to take you up on that sometime. Yeah. We'll have to get a spike ball. I almost want to call it spike ball goal, but I know that's not what it's called. But nonetheless, Simmer, moving back into the hockey side of things, these Odessa Jackalopes, very interesting from them. Of course, the last week for them was a bit of an interesting one, and I say that because them, like us, they're trying to find their footing amongst things. Of course, last week for them was, how do I put this? I wouldn't say relatively easy for them as they took on, if I can pull up the live stats here on NAHL.com. Sometimes internet is a beautiful thing, Simmer. Nonetheless, the last 5 games for them, interesting. They faced the El Paso Rhinos. They took a split series, 4-2 against the El Paso Rhinos, and then 6-1. They lost the second game, but won the first one there in El Paso. So it's funny, El Paso just seems to love to wait to make its way to our conversation, Simmer. But what's the scouting on these Odessa Jackalopes from the last time we've seen them, which was not too far off?
Yeah, no, they're just fast, hard-working team. Obviously, they're kind of in the same spot with us and kind of make a playoff spot, so they're going to be giving 100% effort just like us. But, just got to go out there and we just got to give 100% effort, play our game, and hopefully win these 2 here.
Absolutely. Now, Simmer, I got 2 more questions for you. First one being hockey related. Well, actually, both hockey related. I'm just going to leave it at that. Of course, their leading goal scorer is Caden Giassi, a player that I'm going to be honest, I feel like a lot of people don't have on their radar as much. I'm going to be honest. What's your opinion on Mr. Giassi?
Yeah, we just gotta, watch when he's out there and just kind of shut him down and just realize, they're a good team and they play well together. So just gotta stop their superstars, and then I think we can just work from there.
Absolutely. Now, I got one last question for you, and then I'll let you get going. What's your personal game plan for tonight, Mr. Jason J. Smooth Silence?
Just, go out there and, like I said, just give 100% effort, lay the body and just be myself, play my game, and I think us as a team, if we just play our game, we can win these games. So.
Absolutely, Jay Smooth. Now, I'm sorry, that name still gets me every time, so I got to keep that in the lexicon. But nonetheless, Simmer, thank you for joining us here on the Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission Show.
Thank you.
Of course, and as always, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with more here on this Sonic Drive-In Second Intermission Show. You're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey here on NATV and the Mudbugs Broadcast Network. Hey, Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata & Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata & Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case, or visit them online at defatapi.com.
For those that have fallen, I say get up. For those that are asleep, I say wake up. For those that are seated, I say rise. It is time. The world needs what we possess. The only hope for a dark world is the light of Jesus Christ. Let your light so shine.
Thank you for tuning in to this Word of God Ministries message.
Fireplace Specialties is a proud corporate partner of Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey. Fireplace gas logs, glass doors, wood stoves, mantlets, and grills. They've got it all. They're located at 8500 Box Road in Shreveport or on the web at fireplacespecialties.net. Once again, that's fireplacespecialties.net. Fireplace Specialties is your fireplace headquarters.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Mr. Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
After 2 periods of play, 3-2 the score in favor of the Odessa Jackalopes. Batar Kuskowski made it 2-0. Odessa, before Grayson Gerhardt broke the ice for the Bucks, made it 2-1. Kenan Giosi got another one, his 26th of the season. Made it 3-1 before Johnny Burns made it a one-goal game where we currently stand 3-2 the score. Johnny Burns continues his hot streak, his 13th goal of the season for the Bugs, and he's now got points in 5 of the last 6, including a goal, or actually 2 goals now, and 6 assists. My goodness, he's been on fire. Now, this game is important for a lot of reasons. The standings are tight with only 10 games remaining after this one, so let's take a look now at our out-of-town scoreboard here in the second intermission to see what else is going around along the North American Hockey League. A couple of South Division games going on tonight, and all of them pretty much are important to the Bugs. Our first look around the league will take us to Corpus Christi. The Ice Rays and the Oklahoma Warriors tied at 2, just underway in the third period there. So still nobody getting the upper hand in that one early on. In that, again, that third period, shots 25-17 in favor of Corpus Christi as they kind of try to battle back here. So we look at the rest of the out-of-town scores. El Paso trailing 2-0 to New Mexico. That's going to really cause a shakeup in the top couple of spots in the standings. Lone Star sits number 1. They've already clinched a playoff appearance, one of only 2 teams in the North American Hockey League to do so, Maryland Black Bears being the other one. El Paso currently sits second ahead of New Mexico, but that's going to really make things interesting if they drop this game here tonight. Just a few points out of the Ice Wolves. Wranglers trailing 4-0 to Lone Star Brahmas, being outshot 21-11 at the end of 2 periods there, as Lone Star continues their hot push. They had 3 goals in the first, 1 in the second. That's where they stand. 4-0 after 2. Have to look at all of the out-of-town scores in the South Division here as we get you set for the third period. On the other side of the break, the Bucks trail 3-2, trying to launch a clawback on their way to try to pick up 2 points on this Friday night. Back in a moment here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Hey, Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Hey, this is Mitchell Reed, and you're listening to the Shreveport Mudbugs hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action. Claws up.
Mudbugs Hockey is proudly brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings, Wings Beer Sports. Back here for the start of the third period at George's Pond in Shreveport. I'm Zach Grant, voice of the Mudbugs. Duncan Welker will be joining us a little bit later on here in this third period. 3-2 our score in favor of Odessa. The Jackalopes got out to a 2-goal lead twice in this game. Bugs have pulled back to within one either time from Grayson Gerhardt and Johnny Byrne getting goals for the Bugs here thus far tonight. Our third period tonight brought to you as always by our friends at Delta Utilities. Know what's below? Call 811 before digging any projects at least 48 hours in advance. That number again is 811. And that message was powered by Delta Utilities. Know what's below. Chase Sakrisky in to take the draw for the Bugs, moving left to right in the Mardi Gras jerseys in this third period. The puck is down at center. The Bugs control the opening face-off on a fresh sheet of ice, down a goal on this Friday night. If it's dumped to center ice immediately, Odessa will slap it into the offensive zone. Bugs will seal it away into hash marks. Now goes behind the cage. Remy Pusateri will leave it off now, far side for Zach Wilson. Spins off a defender, leaves it for Grayson, or Remy rather. Now it's picked up on the wall for Birchfield. Up ahead for Sakrisky. Off to his right, banks it off the wall, passes it back to himself. He spun down to the ice. Odessa forces a turnover at the blue line. Sakrisky steals it back away. Bottom of the right circle, it's Chasser. Works below the goal line, going coast to coast, flips it up to high slot. Tried to hit Sakrisky again on the doorstep. Couldn't corral it cleanly. Bounces free for Birchfield. Birchfield off to the far corner. He'll wrap it back around the kick plate to the near side, and Odessa's going to steal it away. Almost a minute into period number 3. Up the wall again. Held in by Birchfield. Still whacking at the puck. Down low for Sakrisky. Sakrisky lost the puck. Centering feed right out in front. John Burt tried to poke it home, but it's turned aside by Odessa. To the wall. Held in by the Bugs again. Burt into the corner. He's got it back up left point. He fires one. Never got to the net. Rebound comes off the side of the boards, and it's up the near wall. It's banked back out to center ice. Icing is washed down to this track done by Mitchell Reed. Minute 20 into this third period. Bugs trail by a goal 3-2 on game one of our Mardi Gras weekend. At the blue line, the Bugs turn it over, comes back out to center. Odessa's going to tag up as Arrington will fire it in. Phillips out of his net to play it, slips it off to the far side. Flipped up there at center ice, eventually tracked down by Thorne. He'll turn and fire it in. Phillips again will leave it off behind the cage. Off to the left of the net, sticks it backhanded for Mitchell Reed. Reed works off the far wall, up ahead, out of the zone, up to center ice. The Bugs will bring it in. Offensive end, left side, big shot, top shelf, they score! Waiting for it right there, a big drive. And the Bugs have tied it up with 18:09 to go here in the third period. What a chance, a pass into open ice. And Shreveport has battled back twice in this game, now make it 3 times. As they tied up, it was Duke Earhart waiting to slap it high, top shelf, 3-3 with 18:09 to go. Well, that makes things interesting here on this Friday night. Bugs were down 2-0, made it 2-1, then down 3-1, made it 2-3, and it's 2 straight now as Earhart picks up a goal. That's Duke's 15th goal of the season, his second point of the night. and it's a big, important one to tie it up. 3-3 our score as things are starting to heat up down there on the bench. Playoff hockey, got to be excited, but also be composed. Duncan Welker's down on the bench right now, saying that the guys are all amped up as they huddle up in front of head coach Jason Soupy Campbell again. This team has faced adversity all season long, and they do it yet again, tying up the game early in the third period as the Mudbugs are being collected up off the ice. It's Duke Earhart, who just got a feed down the slot and sniped it top shelf to tie it up. Now let's see if the Bugs can get their first lead of the game. They have not led thus far. Bugs have been collected. Face-off upcoming at center ice. Evan Hoagland in to take the draw for the Bugs. This is where Hoagland usually likes to jump draws and try to score himself. Let's see if he does it here. Early in the third period, 18:09 to go. He does jump the draw, but it's controlled by Odessa, and the Jackalope will rifle it in from center. Comes near side, pick back up the wall for Earhart. Goes off his body, now up ahead for Hoagland. Hoagland for Grayson. Grayson lost the puck. Evan corrals it. Bottom of the right circle, whiffs on it in the corner, slides it up the wall towards the blue line for Adams, and he brought it out. That's delayed offside. Bucks have to tag up. They'll play it. So that'll be an offside infraction. 17:46 left here in the third period. Like you reminded about Bucks hockey is always brought to you by our friends at Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice of the best pizza in town. 3-3. We're all tied up after the latest goal from Duke Earhart. Tied it up. Big goal for Duke there. Bugs want 2 points, but a point wouldn't be the worst thing in the world on this Friday night. Just in over the zone. Now Bugs will bank it back out to center. Goes off the Jackalopes will have to tag up. Grayson Gerhardt, Evan Hoagland getting the assist on the Earhart goal, so that's also Grayson's second point. He's been big as well. Duke Earhart, a solid offensive threat, 27 points for him on the year. He's had a few 5-game point streaks thus far this season. Brought in over the line left side by Barrett into the slot. Vinny DiUlio tried to stick it there. Now it's brought back the other way. Odessa, though, running gun around the D into the corner. They lose the puck, though. Offensive end wrapped around the boards. Comes near side for Adams. Adams around Catalano, works off to the far side of the net. Up the half wall, got it back out to center ice. Tracked down by Odessa, though, rifled in from the right of the center circle. Into the corner it goes for Owen Case. He will track it down. Outlet pass doesn't connect. It's going to go all the way down towards the goal line, but not going to be icy. It hit the goaltender. Vadas in net, so it's a shot on goal on the clearing attempt. 16:40 to go, third period. Bucks have it, offensive end. Up the far half wall, centering feed, losing it in the slot was Wilson. He took a hit. I think it's spun down to the ice. Puck comes back out to center, flipped up ahead, and Zach Wilson back to his feet will grab it. Now he slides behind the net, gives it right side for Remy. Remy into open ice across center, brought in over the line for a moment before Odessa was able to steal it back away, and then Remy will dump it in. Takes a couple of forearm shivers that time. At center from Pankratz, it's going all the way back down, and icing. A louder Bacon Company icing call coming up on Odessa. Bugs are going to get an offensive zone draw. Bugs are going to go on the road for a couple of weeks. They'll be back at home March 17th, though. The makeup game on Tuesday night against Lone Star, celebrating St. Tommy's Day. So that's a blend of St. Patrick's Day and team owner Tommy Scott's birthday. So come on out to the pond and join us for St. Tommy's Day on the 17th, and then that following weekend against the Amarillo Wranglers, 27th and 28th for Hirsch Hits and Great Outdoors Night. Hirsch Hits, of course, as there's a drive that gets blocked away, honoring the long legacy of performers in this building. For those of you who might be newer to the Mudbugs, here's a big shot off the side of the net, comes up front. The famous quote, "Elvis has left the building," was coined right here at George's Pond. Of course, it wasn't George's Pond at the time. It was still the Hirsch Coliseum. Brought it over the line by Barrett. Into the corner it goes, centering feed. Broke it up. Goes wide of everybody's stick except Kuskowski, who tracks it down and flips it in. Over the line, Diosi stayed on side. He set off the puck, and he has to slide it back out to center, where Xander Mullins will fire it in from the center red line. And now they're just going to whistle it down for offside with 15:29 left here in the third period. Tied at 3. Our scratchers are going to call icing as well. Linesman said he was just behind the red line that time. So all the way back down. Ozone draw coming up for the Bugs. So 4 weeks left to the season. After this weekend, Bugs will split it 50-50, 2 on the road. New Mexico and Odessa before coming back home to face off against Amarillo and close out the season against the El Paso Rhinos. That's going to be a massive series for everybody at that point in the year. Adams will glove it down. Big drive from the right circle. Stopped, and Gerhard getting a couple of whacks in the backside from Xander Mullins as they will gather behind the net with 15:22 to go. They got a couple of big games coming up for the Bugs. Every game, really. Everybody's doing a few points with just a handful of games to go, just 10 games to go in the regular season after tonight. Odessa's only got 9. They have a game up on the Bugs due to that. When we got snowed out, they played as Evan Adams going to have to go all the way back into his own end to track it down. At the near circle, he's got it on top of the dot. Slings it across to the left side. Bucks will start the breakout. Here's Hoagland, dances around a defender, lost the puck at the blue line. Odessa will cycle it into open ice. Up the near wall, it's Jacobs. Haven't called his name in a while. Avoids a check. Centering feed there, goes off a Bug. That was Hoagland into the corner. Then Hoagland gets knocked down. That's going to be a penalty upcoming. And now all heck's about to break loose as the Bugs send another man down. And they're all going to kind of tango there. It's going to the boxes. Arrington on the initial penalty. Then Adams knocked a man down behind the play. That was Jacobs who's slow to get up. Linesman step in quickly, and it looks like we'll see what happens here. Looks like just a penalty on Odessa, so the Bugs are going to go on the power play as the Bugs are yelling at the referee wanting the penalty. That is going off to the box. It's Bateman. He spent a lot of time in the box the last time the Bugs played the Jackalopes, but been out of the box so far tonight. I haven't seen him much in the lineup here this season.
No, not really, and of course, that's actually number 21 for the Jackalopes, Douglas Arrington. So fans are getting pumped up for the Scott Powerline power play. You know, it's funny being down on the bench versus being up here in the booth is definitely a unique perspective. And, you know, like you mentioned, the bench, and like I mentioned to you, Zach, over message, the bench was buzzing on that third goal, but it was composed. That's something you haven't seen out of this Mudbugs team in a while. And I mean that because, you know, most teams will be buzzing, but they won't be composed about it. They'll let their energy kind of get to them to almost make it a weak point. But the Bugs are staying composed. Love to see it.
So between last weekend and tonight, Bugs are 0 for their last 15 on a man advantage. Odessa ties up the draw. Offensive end, Bugs win it back to the line now. It's Owen Case, right point. Just waiting for a new top power play line out there now as well. Case goes high slot, pulls the trigger, shot turned aside. Rebound, one-time chance in front. That's turned aside. Evan Adams gets it back, slides it up for Griner. Griner leaves it off for Case. Case, high slot, back for Griner, bottom of the left circle. Centering feet there, try to get it to Birchfield. Can't corral it cleanly. Goes up to the wall now, to the blue line for Adams. Leave it off for Owen Case, who cycles it to the left. Big drive, turned aside. And up into the netting and out of play. Stops time with 1:25 on a power play, 14:22. But power play struggled over their last 15. And Jason Soupy Campbell, head coach of the Bucks, put a new line out there to start the power play. And they got a couple of good scoring chances there.
Yeah, so far, Soupy, I feel like I get the feeling that this power play unit, this entire power play unit really, is almost fluid. It's the weirdest thing. You don't think of a power play unit necessarily as fluid, but as long as there's the key pieces in there to keep it going and turning and moving like a well-oiled machine, and to get the machine started I wonder what the explanation was down there, but just to get the key pieces moving, that's my original point, that's all that matters on this Scott Powerline power play unit so far. But I'll have to find out what the conversation is, or rather what it is going to lead to.
Yeah, Jason Soupy Campbell was talking to the referee, and then he talked to the linesman. Now, Odessa's bench is going to get a Scott Durgan an explanation now from the referee. Still not quite sure what this is about. The puck went out of play. It was very simple here.
Yeah, now they're going to go over back to you called it ref's crease, is that right?
Referee crease, that's what it's called in the rule book.
Well, you know what?
Did you learn something today?
I did learn something. I learned a lot, Zach.
That's fair, that's fair. Yes, that is the referee's crease. It's meant to provide a barrier, if you will, when the officials are talking about something to keep the players out to stay up.
Well, you know what? That's probably why it's good to have a referee up here. Well, that and somebody who's studied the rule book cover to cover. So nothing wrong with that.
It looks like they ended up putting 2 seconds back on the clock, so now the Bugs have 1:27. So
the timing issue, yeah.
Big drive from the point. That goes up into the netting. We're going to do it again. You know, I always find it funny as the crowd had to dodge that one. It looks like everybody's okay, and somebody's walking home with a souvenir. That's a weird spot to walk home with a souvenir. But
you know what? Nothing wrong with it. I've seen people grab pucks in weirder places, and even in baseball, obviously, foul balls. And now we go back to the so it's just really got to be timing issues, I wonder.
You know, I really love, as a referee, something we talk about all the time is that delay of game things always delay the game.
Yeah.
And we've had that here. So now we're going to do it again. 1:22. No changes on the clock this time. 14-19 to go in the third. We're tied at 3. Bugs win the faceoff. Back to the point. It's Gerhard. Right side. Big drive from the left circle. Stopped by Vadas. He sprawls to his right out of his crease and pounces on top of it for a whistle with 14-13. Bugs being aggressive on the power play. Love to see that, and they're doing it in short supply here. The shots were 8-8 normal in the second period. I have a feeling this third's going to look a lot more like the opening frame as the Bugs try to go towards the blue line. Now it's Hoagland. Hits the brakes at the hash mark. Slides it back up top for Burnt. Burnt back for Hoagland. Tried to one-time it. Now he wisely corrals it. High slot for Burnt. Pulls the trigger. His one-timer is blocked, and Odessa will go to play it. Here's Yossi with speed around a couple of defenders. Left side rumbles into the offensive zone. His shot kicked aside by Phillips. Was off the side of that, turned over by the Bugs, but they will eventually get it back as Willie Tremblay leaves it off for Hoagland, or tried to. Evans tried to skate off to the left side of the ice, so that doesn't connect, and the Bugs are going to have to chase it back out to center. 38 seconds to go on the man advantage. It's Gerhard over the line. Right side, had it tied up in his skates. Shea Berry got a piece of it and lifts it to center again. So Earhart will play it through the center circle for John Burnt. Right side of the ice. Up ahead and over the line is Gerhard. Gerhard spins it over to the left. It's Birchfield off of the bench. Down low. Lost his stride. Still set a shot. That one off the side of that. Odessa will rifle it up into the seats again.
I think somebody almost got hit. I think Marquise Cotton, or actually I think he did get hit a little bit, did Marquise Cotton.
Yeah, no, that coach, his tie is starting to fall off after he jumped away from it. Looks like somebody got hit on the bench. The referees are checking on his things over there. It's Marquise Colton, their assistant coach, and got a piece of it.
Yeah, Marquise Cotton. Looks like he got nicked there, and Hunter Robinson going over to check on him. I hope he's okay. I mean, that
Hunter teleported over there.
No, really, it's never, well, it's never a good sign when you hear the oohs from the fans. So I get the feeling that it looks like he's okay. So looks like Marquise Cotton is okay. Good stuff.
Here's Owen Case, one-time drive, pushed it just wide. My, oh my, the Bugs set that up, just couldn't execute. 5 seconds to go on the power play. Odessa's going to slap it out of the zone all the way back down. Owen Case is going to get to it after Phillips leave it off for it. Owen Case, solid defenseman for the Bugs. Had a couple of goals in the latter part of the season. Almost had a great chance for one there off the faceoff. Here's Wolf Talby through the middle of the ice and over the blue line as Barrett got knocked down. Wolf Talby down the slot, lost it. Still corrals it now as he tried to send it towards the net. Gets tied up behind the play. Now back the other way. It's Shea Berry, flips it up the wall over Wilson's stick to center. Zach will rifle it down, goes off of Berry, and eventually trickles into the Odessa zone. 12.5 to go. Third period. Bugs almost forced the turnover at the blue line. Jackalopes get it back. They'll start to break out up the left side of the ice. Brought in over the line. Dodging around a check behind the cage again. It's controlled by Chris Graves. Passes to himself. Got knocked off the puck. Bugs forced the turnover. Up ahead it goes off of Barrett's body and flips out to center ice. Dumped in by Odessa. They tagged up legally, says the linesman. And Larry Pusatiri is going to clear this down. And this outlet pass doesn't connect. That'll be icing.
Late
and now the Bugs bench, not a fan of that call.
Yeah, it was late, it sounded like. And I think they're going to stick with it. They're not going to bring it back out to the neutral zone, Zach. I'm not going to lie, that was kind of a late whistle. I mean, even if, depending on the side you look at it, that definitely was late as the anti-pest of the game here at Georges Pond is.
And a Matar, okay.
Well, I mean, at least according to the NAHL.com line stats here, you got the first goal of the game, so I don't see why not. Hello.
There's a big drive in the slot. Comes back up top for Thornton. Bugs fell down by 2 goals at 2 different points in this game. We're able to Pulled it within one the first time and then tied up the second time with back-to-back unanswered goals from John Byrne and Duke Earhart. That's where we stand 3-3. Turned over again. Far side, Kuskowski will corral it. Leaves it off at the right hash marks. Looking for a play. Centering feed there. Goes off of Zach Wilson. Trickles into the corner. Below the goal line. Birchfield wraps it around the board. Or Diulio, rather. Now it plays up to center. Bugs start the breakout. 3-on-2. Rifled in from Wolftalby. He'll go off for a change. It goes on net. So Vadas has to cover for an offensive zone draw for the Bugs with 11:21, but that's going to have to wait to the other side of this media timeout. Third period, we're tied at 3. Stay with us here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Mudbug fans, this is Duncan Welker with the Shreveport Mudbugs. DeFata and Associates Investigative and Risk Analysis Services has been conducting professional and private investigations for over 20 years. They offer both a full range of services to both businesses and individuals. Whether you need an investigator for a personal matter like a child custody case or suspect an internal theft problem within your business, DeFata and Associates can get you the information you need. Call Jerry and the team today at 318-635-9944 to talk about your case or visit them online at defatapi.com.
Hey, this is Tyler Hodges, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network with Zach Grant and Duncan Welker. Now let's get back to the action.
11:21 left to go in the final frame of regulation. We're back where we started, all tied up. Matar, Kuskowski, Gerhard, Giosi, Byrne, and Earhart, the goal scorers for both teams. 3-3 shots have been crazy off of the wall, and the Bugs will control the faceoff. The linesman gets knocked down there off the faceoff. Slid up the wall, eventually turned back over. So if you're not in referee circles, Duncan, you don't know this, but the linesman now owes the rest of the crew a beer after going down on the ice. Earhart will play it to the middle. Up ahead from their own blue line, the Bugs started out. 11 minutes to go, third period. Get knocked towards the bench is Mitchell Reed. Out to play it is Vadas. Vadas gets it out, but it's back out to center ice. Eventually controlled by the Bugs once more. Up the far wall, Gerhard will leave it off into the zone. Picked up by Xander Mullins. Mullins almost turned it over at the blue line. Bugs pinch to try to hold in. That was Griner, got a piece of it, but it comes out to Thornton. Thornton rumbles into the zone. Fires one, and Phillips is going to wisely hang on for a whistle with 10:35 to go here in the third period. I'd like to remind you that Mudbugs Hockey is brought to you as always by our friends at Sonic Drive-In. This is how we Sonic.
As well as our friends at Porter's Industrial, of course, delivering the difference from Mudbugs Hockey. Locally owned and operated for over 50 years, providing floor mats, including the ones in the Mudbugs locker room and around George's Pond, uniforms, as well as facility services for your company. Again, that's Porter's Industrial. And a big shout out to former Mudbug and Porter's Industrial employee, Elaine Savage, who is here in the building tonight, I believe.
Bugs going to throw it off the draw. We'll try it again here with 10:35 left in the third. Tied at 3 here at George's Pond. Back and forth game. It's been good. This song's a throwback. I haven't heard this song in about probably 15 years as it's jumped in. Good song, though.
Yeah.
Off the side, and then it comes into the crease. Bugs trying to whack it out. Odessa will slide it up to the wall. Eventually turned over, though, as it's banked out to center ice. Picked back up by the Jackalopes. They've got to tag up. They do. Bugs will control back of their net. Evan Adams off to the left, and everything becomes magnified here in a late tie game as Giulio can't corral the pass, but they'll wipe it out as the Bugs got a piece of it anyway. Odessa into the corner, half the defensive end. Bugs trying to force a turnover, almost do at the blue line, but it's eventually turned out by the Jackalopes. Jonah Jasper picks it up, playing defense right there as he dodges a check and maybe sent a stick shiver the way of a Jackalope as Adams tried the one more stick handle and it goes offside. That's something that's plagued the Bugs the last month and a half or so here. They take that extra move at the blue line and they go offside.
Yeah, just that stutter step as the Whataburger What a Play is now on the board, and it looks like it is the goal from Grayson Gerhard. And why wouldn't it be? That was a really nice goal by Grayson back all the way in the first now.
3-3 the score. He got the scoring started for the Bugs before Burnt and Earhart followed up. Jackalopes have a 2-on-2 developing the other way. Down the slot, Giosi knocked off the puck. It squirts to Phillips, who hangs on, and here we go. And John Burnt takes a high stick up in the face area as he took one in the chops, but no penalty is upcoming, and the referee is kind of giving him a look like you shoved him yourself. And so it's just mutual combat there. No penalty with 9:35 to go in the third.
I think that might have been Remy Busatera. I could be wrong. Yeah, no, it was Busatera down there on the end there. But no, I mean, don't get me wrong, no. Remy's 6'4", so he can definitely hold his own. And he did right there.
To the blue line, Phillips steps in front of it to stop it. Jonah Jasser starts up far side. He'll dump it in from the center red line, go off for a change. Vaught is almost over-skated it behind the net. But that would have been dangerous for Odessa. It's coming down the slot with Wolf Talby. Bugs force it back in their own end. It's Remy up the wall. Stick down by Tremblay over the blue line, given away by Odessa. Shot there in the slot. Big hit there delivered. Knocks down a Jackalope as he goes tumbling into the board. Centering feed goes into the slot for the Bugs. Ryan Barrett knocked off the puck. It comes back out to center where Remy will track it down. 8:59 to go. Third period. This one sent in. And this is going to be icing to the far side for a whistle with 8:55. And, well, would you ask for anything more on a Friday night? Tie game with under 10 to go.
Well, maybe a Parmesan crusted ribeye, but I don't think we can get that right now. But the Bossier City collision of the game, and it wasn't from a Mudbug. It was when the Jackalopes down here back, it looked like in the, I think, yeah, back in the first,
yeah,
they slid into each other. So, I mean, it's something. I'll put it like that. But, yeah.
That was probably the biggest collision of the game.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a few hits, but nothing too crazy thus far. And then right as we say that, broadcaster jinx works again, and Remy knocks down Thornton. Barrett gets it back. You talked about Remy being 6'4", can hold his own. He showed it there.
Oh, yeah.
There's Tremblay in the referee crease. Lost the puck to Thornton. Brought back over the line, just barely onside. And now the hitting starting to pick up right as we start talking about it. Yossi takes a hit from Wilson. Wrapped around the board. Slid up to the left point. Thornton drives. Turned aside. Rebound comes out in front. Bugs will play it to the blue line, but not out. It stayed in. Now it comes in the left corner. Tracked down by Earhart. He'll settle it down behind the cage. 8:14 to go, third period. Up the near side. Flip to center. Through the center circle all the way back down into the Odessa end. Jackalopes will track it down. Xander Mullins picks up the puck. 2 points for him on the year. No goals to assist. This is brought in over the line left side now. In the slot, lost the puck. Trying to cycle it to the blue line. The Bugs forced a turnover. Bugs knocked off stride. Get it out to center. Goes off of Hoagland's stick. Eventually turned back over. In over the line comes Odessa with some fresh bodies out there. Centering feet down the slot looking for a play. It's 21 in black. That's Arrington. Arrington circles up to the right circle. Centering feet there. Nobody was home, and Hoagland will bank it off the wall up ahead. Corralling it is Burnt. Burnt in over the line right side. Lost the puck into the slot. Pokes it off his stick. Off of the board. Centering feed there for Gerhardt. Doesn't connect. Jackalopes pick it back up. It's their leading scorer, Jeremy Jacobs, with it. 53 points on the year. Bugs forced the turnover again. Then a big collision there. Knocking a man down. Goes out to center ice. Picked up eventually by Baineman. Baineman will dump it in over the line. Baineman down to the circle. That got tipped by Reed and well up into the netting and out of play. For a whistle with 7:07 as the intensity starting to pick up here late in the third.
Okay. Sorry, the door opening to me, even if it is a puck out of play, it triggers like almost like a fight or flight response. But anyways, down here on the end, it was the aggressive forecheck, or back check. Yeah, no, forecheck. I had that right. The aggressive forecheck behind the box, able to almost force the turnover, and it was from Evan Hoagland and Grayson Gerhardt. So again, it goes back to those coaches' keys. I'll just keep aggressive forecheck, and that's what the Bugs have been doing, and they've gotten not only some goal chances out of that, and some goals. So love to see that.
Bugs turn it over. Odessa has it left point, wrapped around the board. Takes a weird hop, and then somebody took a high stick. That's a penalty upcoming on Odessa. Bugs have the goaltender off for the extra skater, and Owen Case slings it towards the net. Don't want to do that with the empty net.
No.
Far side is Adams, eventually touched up for a whistle. Stops time with 6:45, and the Bugs are going to the man advantage, as that was Charlie Birchfield, I think, that took the high stick, and we'll see if it's 2 or 4. We'll wait the signal from the referee here, and it's going to be just a minor penalty. So 2-minute power play for the Bugs, 6:45 left. So you're on a power play for almost a third of the remainder of regulation. So the big chance here for the Bugs.
So it's Arrington with a boarding minor, not high sticking like we initially thought. So I know, but as the fans get pumped up for this Scott Powerline power play, it's just...
I got to update that. That's Percelli sitting in the box. Or Pankratz, rather.
Yeah. Or actually, no, sorry. Arrington was the previous penalty here in the third. They just updated now. Gabe Pankratz high sticking minor.
Well, they got you that. They're so quick usually. They got you that time. It's brought in over the line. Left off Tremblay. Toe drag in the slot. That's tipped up into the netting and out of play. And that almost got over the netting as well. That hit the very top there. Draws a whistle with 1:41 to go.
It was tipped off, I believe. I believe it was Jeremy Jacobs who was able to tip it off. Yeah. So it was Jeremy Jacobs who tipped Willie Tremblay's shot, which not gonna lie, 5'8", 180, powerful shot, as we've seen a few times. But just, man, if a shot like that can get tipped that high, there's something to be said there.
At the blue line, Bugs are 0 of the last 16 on the power play. They got to get one here. Burt snaps it across left circle. Hoagland cycles it up back for Johnny. Down to the bottom of the left circle. Toe drag in the slot. His shot pushed wide. Comes near side for Gerhardt. He plays the carom off of the boards. Flips it over the head of Jacobs. Over for Hoagland. Across far side. Thornton steals it away. His clearing attempt doesn't get out of the zone. Here's Burt. Right circle. Centering feed down the slot. Great chance there for Gerhardt. Tried to tip it through his legs, but it goes wide. Grayson's got it back. Right circle. Centering feed. Turning and firing. Earhart. He scores! It's the second of the game for Duke. It's 2 straight for him. And the Bugs take their first lead of the game. It's on the power play with 5:45 to go. It's 4-3 on his 6th goal of the year.
First power play goal in 17 attempts. First lead of the night. Duke Earhart. I believe the man is you want to do that. And he did. So we got 4 goals on the board. I'm just going to leave it there. 5:45 left here. Love to see it.
And we're one away from the free Sonic drinks on this Friday night. So hopefully the Bugs will, or Odessa will pull their goalie, and Remy will hit 180 feet down the ice.
Well, that's the prediction. I got to knock on all the wood surfaces up here in the booth to counteract that. As I look over to my left, and General Manager Scott Musket is loving this effort from the Bugs. And again, as he should, because he has helped put this team together. Not only from his experience, long-time coaching, but just his experience of the game. You love to see the general manager happy. And again, as I told you on the last Duke Earhart goal, the bench is buzzing, but it's a calm buzz.
Still plenty of hockey left, 5:45. You can't let your guard down here. 10 games to go after tonight. Bucks sitting at 6th and final playoff spot, 3 points out of Odessa. But the crazy thing is, we talk about that, they're only a few points out of 4th. They're only a few points out of hosting a playoff game. So still lots to get to here in the South Division. Bucks have their first lead. It's Duke's 16th goal. I lied, not 6th, 16th. And that one's dumped in the corner it goes for Evan Adams. Adams hits the brakes, comes near side, up the wall with speed again. It's Earhart dancing around, or Birchfield rather, dancing around everybody. He delivers the check in the corner. Odessa gets it back, and it's held in. Hoagland gets another assist. He's got a couple tonight as well. Linesman gets knocked down there. It goes back for Hunter Toms. D-to-D at the circles for Barry. Back for Toms. He can't corral it. Got to chase it into the corner. Birchfield will pinch after it, but it eventually played to center. Giosi leaves it off. Nice pass for Caden. In over the line comes Odessa. Cycles into the middle. Big drive for Barry. Turned aside. Rebound goes off the side of the net. The worst thing you could do if you're the Bucks is give up a goal right here. Shot there. Gets deflected on the way towards the net. Picked up and rifled along the boards all the way down. Icing is going to get washed out. Puck barely got to the circles. 4:50 to go. As Giosi as it goes off his skate. Given away. Bucks had it for a moment in the offensive zone for Jasser, but it's stolen back away. Lemaire off to his right. Brought in over the line. Got it to him back in the slot, and a great check there. Centering feed goes off the side of the net for Percelli. Percelli plays it to the far wall. Slid up to the blue line. Goes over the point man and all the way back down to center ice. 4:29 to go. Bugs now with the lead. 4-3, their first lead of the game. Zach Wilson will leave it off for Remy Pusateri. Along the right wing, below the goal line, dances around a couple of defenders, goes far side now, off the edge of the stick that time of Wilson. Matar steals it away. Slides it right point, goes off a Bug in front. Nice play there, stepped in front of it. Goes off around the board. Far side, it's Wolf Talby wins the foot race. He'll backhand it out to center ice. It's going to be controlled by Odessa. They turn it over at the blue line. The Bugs will lift it up into the zone. A lot of snow and flying there as well. As it comes back, give it away right in front. Bugs have it down the slot, looking for a play. Couldn't hit the trailer. Bounces up to the left point. Big drive there is stopped by Vadas and held on to for Wilson with 3:49 to go. Great chance for the Bugs, forcing a turnover and playing a little bit of their own game on offense.
Absolutely. And on that Duke Gerhardt goal, Zach, the assist was from Grayson Gerhardt and Evan Hoagland. Like there was any doubt. And while Ward picks Blair's out throughout George's Pond, doing a little bit of scoreboard watching, Oklahoma and Corpus Christi shootout.
Jeez Louise.
Yep.
That's an important game for both those teams, too.
Yeah.
Because Oklahoma sits 5th. Again, if they jump into 4th, they host. That's a huge difference for them. Along the near wall it comes. Big drive from the left point. Turned aside. Picked up by Catalano. He'll slide it up the wall for Thornton. Far point poked away. Great play by the Bugs to get it out to center. Can't force the offensive chance the other way, but they got it up into the bench and out of play. So if you look at the scoring recap thus far, Gerhardt's goal was assisted by Earhart and Hoagland. Burnt's goal was assisted by Hoagland. Earhart got assists from Gerhardt and Hoagland.
And then another one.
The same one. So that's 4 points for Evan today.
Yep.
Duke's got 3 as well, 2 goals and an assist. Gerhardt's got a goal and 2 assists as well. Crazy things happening on Friday night.
No, really, just wild. Wild, and every synonym that goes with it.
And it's crazy because we've been talking about the balance all season long, and tonight it's been really 3-star players getting on the score sheet tonight.
Yeah, really.
Take goals however you can get them.
Yep.
That's what counts. The Bugs have a lead. Jackalopes want a tripping call. They're not going to get one here with 3 minutes to go. Bugs up 4-3 late in the third period here at George's Pond. First game of our Marty Party weekend. We'll have another one coming up shortly. Icing is washed out as Phillips without to play it. Goes far corner. Owen Case had it wrapped off his stick. Comes near side for Jasser. Jasser spun off the puck by Bateman. Leaves it off up the wall, though. Up ahead, and there's a big hit behind the play. Crowd wants the penalty, not going to get one. Now they got Griner coming down the slot. He got knocked into the goaltender. Now back the other way as things kind of getting crazier. This goes up into the Bugs bench and out of play. So they had the Bug behind here. I think that was Earhart.
Yeah.
Either took a high stick or took a body or something, and then Griner was cutting down towards the net. Got tripped up into the play as a puck out of play here with 2:34 to go.
Meanwhile, on the other side, it looks like Scott Durr, when given the signal to Ben Vadas. Why does that name trip me up? Twice they've been here now?
We all have a name that gets us every time.
Well, yeah, at least it's not like Carrie with that one Japanese name back in the night. I'm sorry, that's a great clip if you're into that sort of thing. But
there's Remy at center, lost the puck. Thornton picks it up. Vadas is up to the hash marks, not out of the net yet. Now he goes off to the bench. Thornton corrals it, left point. His shot turned aside. Here's the big blast down the ice, pushed just wide. And everybody was waiting because guess who shot it?
Remy Pusateri.
The specialist. I think he goes out there for one purpose sometimes, and that's to hit it 180 feet. He's got 3 goals on the year, all 3 of them of the 180 feet variety, and that was his literal same exact spot as his goal last week against Corpus. He almost got another one there.
Exactly. And it looks like they're going to just, it looks like, who called the timeout?
It looks like Odessa calls the timeout. Yeah. We're going to take it with them. 2:08 to go, third period, 4-3, the Bugs on top. Let's see if Remy stays out there, gets another one on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Celebrate responsibly. 2025 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
This is Alexis Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
2:08 left on the third period clock. 4-3 the lead in favor of the Shreveport Mudbugs. After back-to-back goals for Duke Earhart in this third period. Matar Kuskowski, that made it 2-0 Jackalopes in the first. Gerhard got one back to make it a one-goal game, 2-1. Tiosi added another one, made it 3-1 before John Burnt, and then 2 Earhart goals put the Bugs in front with 3 unanswered. 4-3 the score with 2:08 to go. We've got a D-zone draw. The net is empty on the face-off, so Odessa banking on a face-off win. It's Jeremy Jacobs in to take it. He's been solid on draw. He wins another one. Torrin wraps it around the boards, back of the net. Remy shoves him off the puck. Bounces free for Zach Wilson. He'll lift it out of the zone. This is not going to have enough for icing. That's a good clear by the Bugs. It wasn't anywhere near the empty net, but then they're going to almost force the turnover behind the plate. Now they do almost again behind the net. Picked up by Shea Berry. I don't know how he was able to. Got a steal right at the left circle. They score. It's an empty net goal. Bring on the free Sonic drinks. The Mudbugs start flying. It's a 2-goal advantage. And it's 5-3 Mudbugs with 1:46 to go.
Group 44 is all around. Love to see it. And Liam Wolf-Tolby delivers. Group 44s all around. Beautiful.
So Wolf-Tolby, that's his 8th goal. And with that, he now has a point in 6 straight weekends for the Bugs. We'll take that.
No, absolutely. As SONIC has been put on the big board. So we're going to say it again. Robert J. Wright will say it instead, because I think he does it better than me a little bit. But nonetheless, Bugs lead this one 5-3, minute 46. Love it.
Well, that was a crazy sequence there. If you saw that, Barry almost turned it over 3 different times before the Bugs were finally able to steal it. 4th time with a charm. And waiting to put it on with Liam Wolf-Tolby, the 8th goal of the year. His first goal since we saw Amarillo. So it's been a couple of weeks for Liam. He got one there. Makes it 5-3. And we'll see what unfolds. Let's see if Vadis gets pulled or if they keep him in the net. Stumped in by the Bugs. Below the goal line, it's Hunter Tom. Slides it up to the blue line. Odessa, as the goaltender goes off for the extra skater. It's thrown out of the zone by the Bugs. It's touched up by Odessa. So that shouldn't have been a hand pass, and that hurts the Jackalopes with the whistle there. As that comes back out to center.
My question is, yes, they are. They're gonna put that. I mean, they kind of have to. But although, don't get me wrong, I've seen some teams have a face-off in the neutral zone and leave their netminder out. Penguins did it. Now they didn't win, but they did it.
5-3. Bugs with a 2-goal advantage. Minute 27 to go. A lot of dirty work going on behind the net. That forced that goal from Liam Wolf-Tolby. That was probably, out of all the 5 goals the Bugs have scored, that was the hardest earned right there. A lot of work behind the net as it's flipped into the zone. Vadis is out to the top of the circles, but he stays in as the Bugs seal it away. Now he's going to charge off to the bench for the extra skater. Left circle to the blue line. Held in, the Bugs seal it away. Big blast from the blue line. It goes! Big drive in front. The Bugs take a 3-goal advantage. And it's now 6-3 with 1:07 to go. Going to be a hat trick for 12 and white. Duke Earhart. What a game he has had. And he's got a couple of assists to go along with it.
Yes, he does. Just a point scoring machine tonight. As not only the Mudbugs have flown, but you know what else has flown? Some really nice hats, actually. You know, it's weird. People don't really look at the hats being thrown on the ice on a hat trick. I do. I like to see what hats get thrown. I'm weird like that. I know, but excellent stuff from Duke Earhart all around.
3 goals, 1 assist for Duke Earhart. All 3 of those goals coming in this third period. He was the big one who tied it up, gave him the lead, and now extends it to a 3-goal lead. 6-3 the score with 1:07 to go. So we can breathe a little bit now Because it is the South Division. You never know what will happen.
Yep. And speaking of that, we'll have to get to it a little bit later once the scores are fully in the wash. But Odessa's here, and they're down 6-3. Corpus, Oklahoma, meanwhile, still in a shootout now.
Jackalope will dump it in behind the cage. This is going to be icing all the way down with 61 seconds to go. So Earhart gets his third of the season. A third of the game, rather. The unassisted goal. So allowed a big company icing call there. Lopez Corsi to take the draw for the Bugs, offensive hit. Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Gabe doesn't always get an abundance of chances to be out there on the ice, but he makes the most of them as Odessa clears it down. Icing is washed down. Bucks pick it up, back of the cage. Final minute as the crowd starts to give the boys some applause out there on a big Friday night game. 6 goals, 4 in this third period, including the hat trick from Duke Earhart and Liam Wolf-Talby with the other empty net goal. Bucks try to start the breakout. Up ahead to center comes for Simons. Left of the center circle, tied up there by Odessa. Now the Bugs working it open ice. Jackalope stealing away. 2-on-2, sent into the zone. Catalano is knocked off the puck by Lopez Corsi. Bugs will clear it down as Catalano and Gabe still mix it up back as they go their separate ways. Jackalope's play to center. Bugs will dump it in around the boards. Vadas will control it. 14 seconds to go. Sticks it into the near corner. Odessa flipped up the wall. 8 seconds to go. And over the line it comes. Turned away in the slot. Bugs will bank it out to center. Lemaire picks it up. The countdown starts. The clock hits triple zeros. The crowd at George's Pond rises to their feet as the Bugs get the important Friday night victory. 6-3, the final score here in Shreveport.
Love to see it. They get that all-important tasty dub. And Zach, like my good friend Trevor always says, no bug boil here tonight as the Odessa Jackalopes head off. And DJ Khaled rings throughout the building. You know, it's funny. Back in New Mexico or wherever it was, I said the song's annoying, but it's one of those songs when it's on your side, it's a great thing. It's when it's on the other side, it's like, all right, we get it. But no, excellent effort as Jesus. Who is Duke Earhart? Who else? Duke Earhart gets some nice attention from his teammates, and now the lights will dim. The sticks will be clapped. The sticks will rise. Voila!
Big victory for the Bugs in front of a raucous crowd on this Friday night, and something that I think gets overlooked a little bit, Duncan, in this game is Jason Subi Campbell in that second period made a goaltender switch. He brought Ethan Phillips out. Hodges didn't have his best stuff here tonight. Phillips comes in the game. I said we'll see if it sparks the offense, and man did it. 5 goals after Phillips came into the game. 6-3, the victory here on this Friday night. We'll take a quick timeout. The Nicky's wrap-up show is on the other side here on the Bugs Broadcast Network.
You know that Shreveport Regional Airport offers more daily flights than any other nearby airport. Daily flights to Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, Denver, and Houston means you're one stop from anywhere in the world. Make the short drive to Shreveport and start your vacation sooner.
Down Home Meats is a proud corporate partner of your Shreveport Mudbugs. Whether you're grilling outdoors looking for a hearty or flavorful sausage for breakfast, a gumbo platter, or anything else, Down Home Meats has the perfect sausage for all occasion. Once again, that's Down Home Meats in the Stonewall, Louisiana area and available at all major grocery stores. Down Home Meats, the perfect old school smoke flavored sausage and doing old school sausage the way it was meant to be.
Get ready, Louisiana! Johnny's Pizza House is turning up the heat with our sweet the swamp pizza. Packed with crawfish, shrimp, a taste of crab, andouille sausage, bell peppers, onions, jalapenos, and a blend of Cajun spices, all smothered in delicious mozzarella cheese. It's the perfect bite of the bayou and the perfect meal for any Cajun crave. Try our Cajun flip or dive into a sweet the swamp pizza bowl. A taste of Louisiana flavor is waiting on you. Let's share a slice today at Johnny's Pizza House.
Hey Mudbug fans, if you're looking for the perfect spot for a birthday party, corporate event, school trip, or any other private outing, Just call us at George's Pond here at Hirsch Coliseum at 318-636-7094 to book your event today. Once again, that's 318-636-7094 here at George's Pond inside Hirsch Coliseum.
This is Ramesses Tremblay, and you're listening to Shreveport Mudbugs Hockey on NATV and the Mudbugs Audio Network.
Six-3, big victory for the Bugs on this Friday night at George's Pond. It was a huge 4-goal third period on the backs of a hat trick from Duke Earhart. He's been on fire lately, and Liam Wolf-Talby got the other empty net goal. And what a game for the Bugs here, Duncan. It's been a rocky last couple of weeks, or really all season for the Bugs, but they come out, they put forth a good effort for 60 minutes. They battled hard, trying to get pucks past Vadis, and they finally were able to get past him, and they broke open for that big 4-goal third period.
Absolutely. You pretty much just took the words right out of my mouth. And as Ethan Phillips down there gets interviewed, of course, he was the first King Oilfield Services King of the game. Third one, number 23, Evan Hoagland. Number 12, well, I kind of spoiled it. The second one, number 12, Duke Earhart. And, of course, as I mentioned, the first King Oilfield Services King of the game, number 35, Ethan Phillips. And with good reason, like you said, when he was brought into the game, you had said that Jason Soupy Campbell, see if it led to anything. And it did. It did. That's the great thing about having a reliable backup like Ethan Phillips, who's able to come in and do his stuff. Now, as for the team effort, got to continue tomorrow. It has to at this point. It has to continue at this point. Also, that reminds me, while I'm here, Diamond M, the DMG player of the game, two of them actually. Number 7, Grayson Gerhardt. Number 9, Ryan Barrett. So 2 Southern-bred boys get the player of the game. And then once again, those King Oilfield Services King of the game, number 23, Evan Hoagland. Number 12, that's the second time I've done it. Second King of the game, Duke Earhart, and number 1 King of the game, number 35, Ethan Phillips. But yeah, just the effort has to continue into tomorrow night against these Jackalopes. It has to at this point, because although, yes, you're somewhat cleared of the threat that there was tonight, you're not out of the water yet. Just got to keep it moving. And an effort like that, especially that third period effort, off the back of Duke Earhart, just, again, it has to continue. I don't think I can say it enough, Zach. It has to continue. And even in the efforts in the first and second, that has to continue. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it has to continue. I don't think I can say it anymore, and I'm not going to say it any less. Has to continue.
You know, it's crazy when you think about how the season has gone in the South, how important goaltending has been. Duke Earhart comes in here with a hat trick and an assist, and he's not even the first star of the game. So that tells you how important the goaltending has been. Ethan Phillips was great coming in off of the bench. He came in that second period again, and he was pretty solid as well in net, kind of keeping the Bugs in the game. He stopped 14 of 14 that he saw, did not allow a goal since coming in. So now we'll take a look at our game recap. Adam Matara got the scoring started midway through that opening period. Daniel Kuzkowski followed up with another one at the 4:14 mark to make it 2-0. Grayson Gerhardt pulled it within 1. It's his 13th goal of the year at the 3.5-minute mark of the first. In the second, 1 goal for either side. Cannon Gialsi not even a minute in before John Burnt tied it up, or pulled back to within 1 within the 10:38 mark. Evan Hoagland got his first assist of the game, or second assist rather, on that one. And then that third period, all Bugs, 4 goals, 3 for Earhart, bookending 1 goal for Liam Wolf-Talby. That made it 6-3, the final. Big effort for the Bugs. And we talk about a big effort. You love to see the victory. Now you've got to continue it into tomorrow, as you mentioned, Duncan. You cannot. Getting that second straight win has been the Bugs' problem. They've had a lot of weekend splits so far. They got to get on the scoreboard. But speaking of the scoreboard, all kind of important games going on elsewhere in the South as well, because, yes, this game is important, but it's not in a vacuum. There's other games that matter at this point in the year, and let's go ahead and take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard and kind of get you set for the South Division standings before we let you go here tonight on this Friday night. Big win for the Bugs, 6-3.
Thanks, Zach. Of course, the Ice Rays win against the Oklahoma Warriors 3-2. So the Warriors will get a point, but Corpus Christi will get the 2 points on the night. Moving along into the rest of the South Division, Lone Star 5-1 over the Wranglers. New Mexico takes down the Rhinos. If you look at the standings, which we're going to right now, Lone Star in first, 71 points. New Mexico takes that tie that they were in earlier. They're now at 64 points in second place. El Paso still in third, so respectable for the Rhinos there. The Ice Rays now sit at 57 points after their shootout win against the Oklahoma Warriors. The Bugs now move up into solid fifth place after tonight's win with 52 points in fifth place. Oklahoma Warriors, they still get a point from their shootout loss against the Ice Rays in sixth place with 51 points. The Odessa Jackalopes, of course, no points on the night, 47. They're down in seventh. Wranglers, same thing, no points on the night. They stay down in eighth place with 40 points. So, Zach, that pretty much wraps it up for me, all things considered. Bugs get the win. I'm going to get a Route 44, but before I do, as always, ladies and gentlemen, do good, be good, and as always, claws up, go Bugs. Zach, set us home.
Duke Earhart, the offensive player of the game. He got goals 15, 16, and 17 with a hat trick in the third period alone to put the Bugs on top 6-3 over the Odessa Jackalopes. Bugs with that victory get 2 points. They improve now to 22-19, 3-5. They're now 11-10, 1-2 at home. Odessa with that loss drops to 20-23, 4-3. Ethan Phillips picked up the win. He now sits 5-6-1 over on the season. Ben Vadas gets saddled with the loss. He drops to 6-6 on the year. Great goaltending for him early on. Bugs got to him offensively after the goaltender change for the Bugs sparked the offense, and that made it 6-3 the final here on this Friday night from Shreveport. Back at home tomorrow night, 7:11 p.m. puck drop for the continuation of our Mardi Party with a special Mardi Gras parade going on in the intermission as the Bugs look to get 4 points against the Jackalopes this weekend. For Duncan Welker, the rest of the crew here in Shreveport, I'm Zach Grant saying good night and good hockey. The Bucks with a victory, 6-3 tonight in front of a big crowd at George's Pond.